Aki says, hey, that's the Femboy I know. Ruby Muscaria says, can't wait for the sequel stream animes flappable nowadays.
Girl, test my love, every single last drop. Won't be satisfied, baby, till you begging me to stop. Oops, there you go, it's that boy again. I mean, that cocky motherfucker, all he do is win. I mean, the extra sense of love, Kami-sama undercover. Fuck around and put that rubber, don't speak of it like another. Oh my god, that's the thing. These cars on
Femboy Kirito says, now I know about starting a fight.
When I make them moist, dripping through the games. So I slurp them up and don't stop until they clean. Shawty getting rough, she cut me, don't give a fuck. Shades of you know Kasai, she drugged and tied me up. Good thing I'm a savage, so simple, always manage. Flip up the script, leave it pinned out to the mattress. Get you till I die, these are molars, call me senpai. Girl, I'm the way, suck your blood till it runs dry. Staring at those legs, getting tranced by those guy highs. Being hypnotized, so enthralled by those boy eyes. Oh my, it's the king of the icky. Fangirls worldwide saying my voice is sexy. I don't care what you say, I know one thing, shit, they all love you like I do.
Taylani the Femboy says, P-H. Taylani the Femboy says, onk.
Everyone's voice, only I'm not there, just watching from afar. I can't go home because I'm afraid something will change. Me without me, I'm the one to
Says,
blame.
Angelic Face, Terry is here.
I've moved on by my own will. I had nothing else I wanted to do. Wasn't hard, but I didn't hate it. I did not even like it. I've been patient, but it was bearable. I've had a gray haze for a long time though. I never found out what it was. It's my stress, that's for sure. I never wanted to run away. I was very motivated. Then what is this feeling? Who would I ask? I've been patient, but it was bearable. I've had a gray haze for a long time though. I never found out what it was. I taste like vegetables I don't like. The town inside me and everyone's voice, only I'm not there, just watching from afar. I can't go home because I'm afraid something will change. Me without me, I'm the one to blame. Boom, boom, boom. Ooh, ooh. I'm not waiting for a Santa Claus. I already have the gifts, just can't open the box. I know all about it, no one can stop it. Unless I just have to do something about it. It's not even a case. I've been patient, but it was bearable. I've had a gray haze for a long time though. I never found out what it was. I hate the alarm clock I chose. The town inside me and everyone's voice, only I'm not there, just watching from afar. I can't go home because I'm afraid something will change. Me without me, I'm the one to blame.
Ruby Mysterio says, the name is Phantom. Infinite, yeah.
I'm out of patience, my body is light. Let's paint the gray haze into sky blue. I know who you are. I'm not leaving you again. The town inside me and everyone's voice. Only I'm not there, just watching from afar. There is nowhere to go, nowhere to go. It's all just
Taylani the Femboy says, what was the QCR thing in Discord?
I'm the one to
Taylani the Femboy says, I didn't have a chance to see the video.
place where I belong. No matter what changes, will no longer change me. No matter what change, will no longer change me. I can feel the light even after the sun goes down.
Says, QCR? Says, wah.
Kiss me, please.
Taylani the Femboy says, the quarter century rare, and controversy in guessing. I don't know, I saw something in Discord about it. Says, Woya.
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter on Mars. In August,
Says, looks like I missed out. Says, I guess. Kinsey Mako says, ooey, boys in dresses day. Might have to join and roll. Ruby Muscaria says, oh, is that regarding the blue eyes thing? Says, wah. Taylani the Femboy says, please do Kinsey. Says, Kinsey07. Ruby Muscaria says, if it's what I think it is, Aki told me about it. They printed a card for an archetype fans love and the rarest rarity in the set, so now it costs over $500. Taylani the Femboy says, is it exclusively for that rarity? Ruby Muscaria says, yep.
It's
Says,
Friday and I'm here. Oh, it feels like I haven't streamed in like a month. It feels like I haven't streamed in a month. I have
Says,
actually streamed
yeah.
in
I'm not
the
in the
past
theme then.
week. 8 days.
Ruby
8 days. It's been 8
Muscaria
days since I
says,
last streamed.
unlike most of the other QCRs,
It has been
like
8
my
days since my last.
creation that also has a lower rarity
It
variant.
has been 8 days since my last confession. Hello, everybody. It's Friday. Oh, happy Femboy Friday. I forgot to put that in my post. I forgot to make a happy Femboy Friday post. God, I am a bad femboy. I'm an awful femboy. Oh my God. My life has been a thing. My life has been a thing for the past week or so. It has been intense and
Says, JJK
crazy.
Hearts. When?
When? I streamed last Thursday or last Wednesday. I had to take the weekend off because I had a whole bunch of events going on and all of them got canceled.
Can have 6. Aki says, wait, what did I miss? Aki says, I was grabbing water.
Oh, you weren't talking to me. I gotcha. Okay. So wait, what do you I was asking Ruby about the quarter century rare debacle that was posted in Discord. Like, I don't know much about Yu-Gi-Oh, but I like kind of. Okay, so this is something I'm actually used to.
He was asking about the QCR situation.
Yeah, because
says the card controversy you talked about with Ruby.
Magic, like Wizards does like crazy shit with Magic like that too, and it's annoying. As a matter of fact, we could probably rant
Aki
about
says,
Magic for a little bit.
Oh yay.
Yeah, I was interested because I was like, well, if Yu-Gi-Oh is something I want to get into as a card game, I kind of curious about what kind of nonsense they're gonna like. Okay, I imagine like every company is like, oh yeah, we can do collector stuff and FOMO and blah 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 blah.
Aki says, basically they printed a new card, the cover card of the box set, and it's only printed in QCR.
See, now here's the thing, because I think Magic actually does this kind of thing better.
Ruby Muscaria says,
I know.
I would advise starting with a starter deck. I'm not
for a
even
beloved
joking.
and old archetype.
Aki says,
so
for a beloved and
essentially,
old archetype.
the way Wizards like to do it,
Says,
QCR stands for
QCR?
quarter century rare. It's like one of the rarest.
XD.
I think it's the rarest or one of the rarest rarities in Yu-Gi-Oh. And the only reason why I know this is because I watched Aki unbox some stuff and it was really cool. However, Wizards does this in a different way, because what they'll do is they'll make a card, and it may be rare and it may be expensive, but they'll print a card, and then if they want one that's more rare, what they'll do is they'll print like an alternative form of it, like an alternative art of it, like a collector's version of it.
For the 25th Ani. Says,
yeah.
Quick car restyling. Ruby Muscaria says, you can buy, like, 2 or 3 of them, take out and put in what you do or don't want, and doing that with some other staple cards matched and has one official tournament.
Yeah. See, Magic used to be like that too. It's not like that anymore. Now you basically have to just buy all your cards like individually, which isn't super horrible depending on the kind of deck you want to play. Like, okay, so there is fun in buying a box and putting together a deck from your box. But a lot of times when you're talking about at least casual competitive, things like Friday Night Magic and stuff like that, generally there is a block of, these are the sets that are valid for this format for standard, and you have to use cards out of that set, and there's usually a meta around that, so you end up having to look for deals or buy cards or trade them. I don't know how many people trade cards anymore. I'm sure it still happens, but that used to be way bigger. But so like when it comes to cards and stuff like that, that was one of my favorite parts. I started back when I was like 6, right? I used to collect Pokemon cards.
Kinsey Maker says,
I would go.
I was told that Yu-Gi-Oh had a lot of issues with meta that made it a bad experience.
To be fair, I think that can be leveled to a lot of games, though.
One thing Yu-Gi-Oh definitively has over Magic: every card printed is usable indefinitely unless they ban them for being too powerful.
Yeah, the ones that, okay, so here's the thing. The reason why they do that in Magic is because Magic has been around for 30 years. They've been printing cards for like 31 years now. There are really old sets that are they're like, almost every card in the set is so powerful that they cannot be used anymore.
Bakugan, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Spider-Man, 3,300.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean, Aki. I understand what you mean.
Aki says, I've not got a problem with higher rarity cards for collectors and people who sell as chase cards and sets. But why print a new card and only do it in QCR? Especially for such an old archetype.
Because they did it, you know why they did it. They did it because they're going to make money off of it, because people will buy it. Hi, Train Master. Welcome. Happy Friday. Okay, so like in terms of like what Wizards likes to do a lot is, they'll make like a collector version of a card that already exists. So that you're not gonna. I don't think you'll find a card that is like only alternative art, if that makes any sense. Like, so they'll make a card. It'll be standard, right? So you can get it for a normal price, and then they'll have an alternative art of that card. Maybe it's borderless and stuff. It looks really cool. One thing Wizards knows how to do is make Magic cards look fucking amazing. And apparently Yu-Gi-Oh does too. Like the Yu-Gi-Oh, whoever makes the Yu-Gi-Oh art and stuff like that, apparently they get the same thing. Because I love some of the art I saw when Aki was unboxing the
Aki says,
stuff that he was
pre-sale
unboxing.
prints was $550. It's dropped to about $400 now. The other vendors are up.
Yeah, it gets kind of nuts. But to explain how Magic does things, the reason why standard is only I don't know what standard is now, but standard, meaning the current meta when it comes to normal tournaments and stuff like that, used to be where it was like the current set and then the last 6 sets, or there was like a block of sets. The reason they did that is because they found the game easier to balance when you only had so many cards that to work with, essentially. Like, they could print certain cards, like they could print a card that's kind of strong with like the last 6 sets or whatever, that's kind of strong, but it doesn't have like really massive, like it goes infinite combos or anything like that. However, if they expanded it to older sets, there might be cards that actually combo with the card they're printing. So it's easier for them to balance. Now, that being said, I don't like standard. Because a lot of times there's just nothing fun for me in standard that I really enjoy. Modern is, I think, what a lot of people tend to enjoy because it includes all older sets up to a certain time period, which is like a legacy, basically, you know, things like the alpha and beta and certain sets in Magic that just have way too powerful cards. So they have this like block of modern, but the thing with modern is it's very expensive, right? Because a lot of the cards haven't been reprinted. So if you want to win in modern, it's like, I have a friend of mine, he wanted to win in modern and he built one of the most powerful decks he could on a budget, and that budget was about $3,000. And mind you, the deck still doesn't win a lot. It still doesn't win. It is cool to see when it pops off though.
WTF.
I do enjoy it. So the thing is like, there's a bunch of different formats. There's also like Legacy. I think it's called Legacy, where basically it includes almost
says,
all the cards, even like way back.
Maybe us Yugi heads should be more grateful.
But the more of a set you include, the meta gets more expensive.
Remind me to show you the difference in OCG and TCG products and rarities. Kenzie Mako says,
I just spend my money on Kenzie. I know, I understand. I had to stop playing Genshin because it would have broke me. It would have destroyed me. Although someday I might go back and play Genshin and play with my cute Genshin boys. But yeah, they release way too many cute boys in Genshin for me to keep up with, and I just can't.
Hey chat.
Hi Will, what's going on? How you doing today?
Says,
Happy
if
Friday.
I had 3K, I'd probably not spend them XD.
If I had 3K, I'd probably not spend them.
Says, oh yeah, OCG is good about rarities. They have multiple rarities for the rarity boosted cards in the TCG.
See,
Says,
like,
//
I've been playing Magic for a long time. You know, when the Gen 1 Pokemon stuff blew up, it blew my mind because I don't have my Pokemon cards anymore. Like, all of my Generation 1 stuff, which I got for really cheap when I was younger. Obviously, I got it for, like, regular prices.
2p.
I don't want to. I don't want to become broke. But I ended up like having like a whole bunch of like Gen 1 Hollow Charizards and like all of the stuff that was like really expensive, like people were selling for millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. I had all of that stuff in droves. I traded most of my Gen 1 holofoils.
Code Geass is still good. no matter what anyone says.
Oh, we'll get to the anime thing. You'll understand more when I start ranting about it. But yeah, I had like a lot of the Gen 1 stuff.
OMG no.
I traded 200 of my Gen 1 hollows, like really good hollows, for a truck.
Well, says
when I was
greater than 3.
I don't know, younger.
Says
16.
not the first gen.
I think it was 16.
Says
17. So
says
and then
OMG.
I never really had. I every time I got a hollow Charizard, I'd always trade it to my best friend, one of my best friends, and because he loved Charizard, and he had a binder. He had a binder full of Gen 1 hollow Charizards.
Femboy FTW.
All of them. He had like misprints.
tough.
He had the whole freaking works. And I think last time I saw him, I asked him, it's like, because it was like right during the Pokemon boom, I was like, what did you do with that binder full of Charizards that you used to have? And he's like, yeah, I know. He's like, I moved a while back, and I have no idea what happened to them.
Ruby
He's like, they
Mysterious
just fucking
says,
disappeared.
My stepdad had a Black Lotus.
Oh, freaking Black Lotus. I don't know if it's still the most
Says,
expensive card
no.
in Magic, but it is one of the most expensive cards
Aki
in Magic.
says, still debating getting my nice QCRs graded so I can either keep them or sell them in the future.
Yeah. I mean, definitely.
Ruby Mysterious says,
It's funny.
emphasis on had.
Anything that is
Femboy
nostalgic
says, I need a binder full
will
of
eventually
Lucario,
become expensive, I
as
think.
well as a plush of him.
And
says,
COVID was kind of
we
a
need
weird
another
time.
Pokemon
I don't think
trading
anybody
card video
expected
game.
like Gen 1 to blow up like it did, like the Gen 1 stuff. I mean, granted, things get more expensive the older it gets, especially stuff that is actually loved and not just something that people are speculating on, like a bunch of dumbasses. But yeah, no, he had this whole binder. I
Says,
traded like a lot of the
Bionicles got
Charizards to
cheaper
him that I would get because I always liked electric type decks, electric and water type decks. So like, I had a lot of like Misty stuff, and I had a lot of electric stuff that I would tend to collect. But he loved Charizard, so he had everything about Charizard. That was like his whole shtick when we were kids, and I just
Ruby Mysterious says,
my mind is
I
blown.
got some Gym Leader Gen 1 Pokemon cards.
Because he had a binder, and it was thick. Like, it was a thick binder, and like, other than a couple Charizards that he would play with in his personal decks, almost every one of those Charizards were in a binder and stored in a place where they weren't going to get damaged, right? So they were basically mint condition Charizards. Like, he would have made millions upon millions of dollars, I have no doubt, if he could have sold those. It's insane. It's insane. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. He's like, I hope I find them someday, but I doubt it. I have a feeling either someone took off with them,
Says, bro
or
frown.
they got left somewhere. And it's like, oh, man. Damn, that sucks. I think about that all the time. But it is what it is. I mean, that's why things become rare, because people get rid of the things, or they lose the things that they
Says,
don't think are
indeed.
going to be worth anything someday. You grow up and you decide, you know what? I have a little bit too much shit, and you get rid of it. You might sell it or something like that. And then, you know, you're looking at it a decade later, and you're seeing the prices of some of the stuff, and you're going, why did I ever get rid of that? And, you know, it never occurs to you that there's a reason you got rid of the stuff you got rid of. But you kick yourself, because it's like, I can't believe that this is worth this
Says,
much money now.
I was made to trash bin my comics.
No!
Says, 3.
That sucks. And it's funny because...
Leo
Hi,
Parker
Leo.
says,
Welcome to the stream.
hello.
It's funny because
Says, Spider-Man.
nowadays people will
Says,
collect things
frown.
assuming they become like collector's
Ruby
items or
Mysterious
expensive,
says,
and they
Yo, Aki,
won't, because
should I try my luck
people
with some
now
battle
know not to
terminal
throw
packs
certain
soon?
things out. But you never know what's going to be the next big thing, so it's hard to tell. Should I try some battle terminal packs? Okay, so yeah, I was like, yeah, I was trying to figure out, like, what do I want to talk about today on stream? And I'm gonna rant about I'm gonna rant about anime. I also got some other things. I have a server. I was going to talk about the fact that I'm going to be building the server soon. So I finally have a date for my install of my fiber internet, which is mid-July. Apparently
Leo
they're
Parker
really
says,
freaking busy.
What's happening?
Apparently they're really
Says,
freaking busy.
And yeah, one of the comics got
But
big.
I have all of the
one with
parts.
him
I'm waiting for the
transforming into a real
motherboard.
spider.
The motherboard is coming
Ruby
on Monday.
Mysterious says, he's got a date, congrats.
the motherboard's coming in on Monday for the server. And then basically I'll be running several servers for things like Minecraft, 7 Days to Die, probably Farming Simulator, and like a couple other things. Space Engineers is going to be a big one because that one we're actually going to do on stream, I'm pretty sure. And so it's going to have its own dedicated server, so people can play whenever they want. They don't have to wait for like me or someone else to be online. I'm like really excited for that. However, I'm waiting for the motherboard, and I'm going to build that, and then I'm going to get see if I can get some help from Archie or something to set it up, because I want to like because I want to set it up under Linux, and I'm not quite sure how to go about doing that.
I never got to play Farming Simulator. Tay, up after stream?
I'm down to play Farming Simulator. I was playing it like quite a bit last night. I'm gonna have to like make some dinner after stream and stuff like that. But I'll probably jump on and play it tonight. I'll probably be in the Discord channel. So if you enjoy playing online games like that, it's gonna be really nice, because we're gonna have like a bunch of stuff that people will be able to do as part of a community, rather than trying to make it work with somebody always having to be online so that you can play on whatever save file they have, you know? So I'm super excited for that. And I don't have to pay for hosting, which is super, super great. And I don't know. I'm very happy about that. Like, everything got screwed up this week. But I was going to talk about some anime. And the reason I was going to talk about anime is because YouTube is a place. YouTube is a place. All right. So here's the thing.
Ruby Muscaria says,
I got
screwed this week.
I am a huge anime fan. Why did you get screwed this week? Oh, because you were sick, yeah.
Ruby Muscaria says,
yeah, not like that.
Fuck.
So, yeah, this week has been kind of shit for me. But, like, specifically, I spend a lot of time on YouTube watching videos and stuff. So, obviously, I see a lot of, like, the videos that are being put out. And I see a lot of videos about different anime, like anime clips and stuff like that. That's how they kind of like get you. So like when I get into an anime now, it's not necessarily because I go out looking for an anime to watch. It's because I saw a clip on YouTube and now I really want to watch it because there's something compelling about it. And that's happened for many things. Violet Evergarden back in the day, that was how I kind of got into that. Toradora. Oh, what is it? There's like a whole bunch of them that I would watch clips of.
Ruby Muscaria says,
Teasemaster.
I was watching JJK clips.
Teasemaster Tasagi. I haven't seen it yet. Teasemaster Tasagi, I think it's, other than the name of it, is one I really, really want to see. There is another anime, Chunibyo. That's an awesome fucking anime. I was not expecting how good that anime was going to be. There are so many like amazing anime out there. My latest one that I really, really want to see is Freerin.
Says 3.
I want to see Freerin really bad.
Kinsey Mako says, Show Unibio is so good.
Yes.
Well says, context.
I was not expecting Chunibyo to be that good. Freerin looks amazing, and I've heard people have said that it's really, really good.
I'm not feeling the card list TBH, but if there's stuff you'll be happy.
So essentially, what I'm trying to think of, because okay, so here's my problem. All right, I really want to see Freerin. I think I'm gonna really like Freerin. I think it's gonna be really good. And my problem, one of my problems right now is I can't really watch it because I refuse to subscribe to Crunchyroll. I think it's a shitty service. I think it's a shitty company. I don't like it. And I used to have Crunchyroll, but I don't like it. I don't know why. I think it's because every time I try to use Crunchyroll as a service, it is not fun. It's not fun. I don't know how to describe it. I just don't like Crunchyroll at all. And there's no like real alternative other than, say, piracy. But I'm not even going to go there because I have no problem with pirating something if I don't feel like I have decent access to it. Freerin just isn't my thing, but it looks really good. Kind of feel bad about not liking it. Did you actually watch it, Ruby? I haven't seen it, so I don't really have any anything in terms of experience with it, but I've heard it's super good. And the concept is amazing. Like, the concept is really good. The idea that, you know, it's about a person who was part of an adventuring party and lives thousands of years, and like, but the rest of the adventuring party eventually passes away due to old age and stuff like that. Like, that's really compelling. But the other compelling aspect of it is, like, she takes on this, like, apprentice, I guess, and she's on this, like, journey. And I don't know what the journey is, but it looks like a fun and good anime. And I love the character design too. High Dive? Is that what that's called? High Dive? Lanavia, hi! Oh, you're on YouTube today. Yeah, I'll be on Twitch tomorrow. But yeah, you don't know, like, nobody has to like any particular anime or anything like that. I'm not like that. But I want to talk about the industry a little bit. They got some good exclusives. Oh, Crunchyroll does? I mean, they might, but the problem with Crunchyroll is I just don't like it. I don't like it. I have always had a really hard time with Crunchyroll because I swear to God, every time I wanted to see an anime, every time there was like a particular anime I wanted to see, it wasn't available on Crunchyroll, right? Now, Crunchyroll, the whole reason I enjoyed it and why people got into it, because I don't think a lot of people remember this, Crunchyroll, well, maybe they still do. I thought they got rid of it, but maybe they still do. Crunchyroll used to, like, offer free episodes or free, sometimes even like a free anime series that was supported by ads or some, you know, stuff like that. Or something similar to that. I'm trying to remember from, like, a while ago. But, like, they had a lot of things that got people to basically subscribe to their service because a lot of people liked Crunchyroll. And then, like every company tends to do, they're just like, let's get rid of all the perks, but we'll basically just make it more expensive. You know, it's frustrating. What the hell? They got, wait, what? Hi. Never feel bad about this. Yeah. Okay. Don't feel bad about disliking something popular, and don't feel bad about liking something that's unpopular. If you guys like Crunchyroll, I'm not telling you to not like Crunchyroll or anime for that matter. I want to rant about it because I care, because I actually care about this stuff. Most of the time it's gaming. I don't have the opportunity to rant about anime a lot, but I have some problems with anime. I have some serious issues with anime. And they're probably not the issues that you guys are going to think of off the bat. I'm not going to start railing against woke nonsense or whatever the other stuff is, you know, that people kind of are YouTubing about these days. What I'm going to complain about are the things that, at least for me, like, really actually matter. And that's the... I guess I'll use a word that's been bandied about recently. The enshittification of anime, right? Because anime, I think what I thought what made anime so good and so popular, the reason why it got so popular is the fact that anime was different, right? Anime had different stories to tell. They had different ways of presenting stories that have already been told. They had a lot of really good character development. Like the writing on a lot of anime was fantastic. Not always. I mean, there's like really, it's like everything. You have like top tier anime. You have that mid tier anime that's still fun to watch. You have that mid tier anime that or that like lower tier anime that's fun to watch but is actually kind of bad. And then you just have bad anime, right? And I see this happen so many times in my life. I will like something. I will buy into something as a medium or something that I purchase or something that I spend money on. And I will get into it early on when, like, not a lot of people are into it. And it's really good. And then obviously something's popularity will grow. And then it becomes something I don't enjoy anymore. And it's not because it became more popular, but it's because its popularity made whoever created that thing that I enjoyed change how they make it and change what they do so that they can become more popular and make more money. That's literally basically what happens to everything. I feel like that I tend to enjoy, but become super popular. And I think most people probably have seen the things that I'm talking about. And I'm probably going to end up trashing something you guys like, or not, at least, in the very least, criticizing it. So I'm hoping that you guys will understand that, like, I'm not saying that anybody's bad for liking anything I'm talking about, or that you're bad. Like, this isn't a personal attack, is what I'm saying. It's not even an attack on anything I will individually talk about. It is more just me ranting because things don't have to be this way. Things don't have to be bad, right? The things that we love can be, if you like it, it could be better. If you know, there's ways things could be better. It's plain and simple. Anime is still good in this sense, but there's just more shit now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's one of the things I'm going to talk about. It is hard. It is hard now to find good anime. Now, you can take any anime and it could be what you like. It could be maybe not what you like, or maybe it'll be actually bad, and people will still love it. But I mean, that goes with anything, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because when you like something, there's probably something specific, or several different things specifically that you like about it that you identify with, whatever the case might be. But whenever I sit down and I see the new anime coming out, it's always the same thing, right? This is one of the first steps of like how a genre, or how like a specific, like how like an industry starts to go bad, right? Because you have step one, you have the trailblazers that make everything really good, and then you have the people that come after that are after that success, and they might make stuff that's really good too. And then you have the big companies that get involved, or you'll have investors that start sinking money into things that people love, and then those things start to become formulaic and manufactured, right? There's no heart put into it anymore. It's just a job now. It's just a job, right? And like, everybody needs a job. And I'm not trashing those people either. But the problem is that I come across is that gradually over time I start seeing less and less things that interest me because they're all the same thing. Okay? The isekai, the whole isekai genre is awful. It is just a couple good series and then a bunch of other copycats, right? But people love them, so they'll enjoy them regardless, because they're like, oh, more of what we like. And I get that. I like new things, but a lot of people are into the whole more of what we like concept, right? People do enjoy isekais. I don't think there's anything wrong with an isekai. I think what's wrong is that isekai started coming out and then everybody started copying them. Right? One of the things I've noticed, and this kind of goes hand in hand with isekais, right, is the isekai that has a really long name that is very specific, like a really long title that is very specific to its situation. I just saw one today. It's something about cheating. Like, it's like I'm in another world, and I got 2 really strong cheats, and now I'm really strong in the real world now. And it's like, what the fuck is this bullshit? What? I don't want to watch this because it's just it might be Cowboy Bebop levels of good. It might be Full Metal Alchemist levels of good. But your title just turned me off. Your title just told me exactly that you like this. Okay. Titling something is really important. And I think it's cute. I think it's cute to make a title like that for something. It's very, there's a word I'm looking for. It's funny. It's funny when someone does that, but it's so, everybody's doing it now. Every fucking anime I see is like this now, and it's like, I don't want to. Because if you're going to be so unoriginal with your fucking title, I'm guessing the anime is going to be the same way. Samurai Pizza Cats and Sailor Moon were my first animes from the 90s. I've never seen Samurai Pizza Cats. I love Sailor Moon, mainly because I was a horny boy. But Sailor Moon has other attributes other than, girls running around. But I like Sailor Moon for other things too. But yeah, that was one of the reasons. But some of my first anime, a lot of like Miyazaki films that would get played on TV all the time. So like Kiki's Delivery Service, Spirited Away. And then there was always Cowboy Bebop. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Full Metal Alchemist were mind-blowing for me. Just mind-blowing storytelling, right? Inuyasha, while being while being part of the problem that has happened in anime too, that I'm going to talk about, at the time, the problem that Inuyasha had I don't think it was quite as common as it is now. So I just like isekai a lot. It got some cool premises, but I can't stand the tropes. The tropes are what kill me, because it's like you're not doing anything different. You're just doing the same thing everybody else is doing, right? There is an isekai I want to watch. It's one you guys have heard of, but I am waiting for it to finish. I do not like starting anime until it's done, because too many times as a viewer, this is another problem I have with anime now. They want to have this whole series and then they don't want to finish it for whatever reason. And the one I really want to watch is Re:Zero. I think Re:Zero looks really cool. And I've seen a lot of clips and stuff from it, and it looks like a lot of fun. However, they had 2 seasons, and I think they're now finally pushing out a 3rd season. It seems like basically they're slowing down, and I don't know if they don't finish it, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna bother with it. I don't read manga. I have no intention of reading manga. Some people do, and that's fine. If you can read manga, that's great. I don't have time. I like to watch things like anime because I like the stories that come from manga, but I don't like having to. If I want to sit down and read, I'll probably sit down and just read books or whatever. I don't know. I don't have anything against manga. I'm making it sound like I have something against manga. I don't. I just don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough room to buy the books, because if I'm gonna read manga, I'm gonna buy the books. I'm not gonna read it online. So it's my thing. It's funny, but the plot is. It was funny, but the plot is dead. Enjoy one, and it's Tensura. The time I got reincarnated as a slime. Yes. Okay. Look, the time I got reincarnated as a slime is. I haven't seen it yet, but obviously for very specific reasons, one of the characters is great. But I still don't want to watch it. Because it's like that time I got reincarnated as a slime doesn't tell me shit about the show. And every time I see a clip about it, I still don't know anything about the show. It doesn't. It's just a what is it? It's a isekai, but it's also a what is it? Is it a shonen anime? Is it just like, what the fuck is it? I have no idea. I know there's fighting. That's about it. Oh my gosh, yeah, I don't know. But I've heard it's really good. I've heard a lot of people say it's really good. So I mean, maybe someday I'll sit down and watch it. I've heard Hunter x Hunter's really great. I'm not gonna watch it. My friend has been desperately trying to get me to watch Hunter x Hunter. No, I'm not watching it. And there is a reason I'm not watching it. It's not done. It's not done. And it's slow. And I know why it's slow. Like, don't get me wrong. I know you guys probably already know. You're gonna be like, you're typing it in chat right now. It's like, oh my god, the author of it is like, he's not doing well. I guess he's got health issues and stuff like that. Oh, that's fine. Like, I get it. However, I don't want to invest my time in an anime that's not going to be finished, or that's going to take so long to come out. I'm going to be dead before I get to see the end of it. I just don't. I don't want that kind of experience. So if Hunter x Hunter is finished, I will be on that shit like white on rice. I will be there. I will watch it, but I don't want to watch it until it's done. And the older I get, the more and more I adhere to this rule. I'm not watching something until it's done. Right? I'm not, at least anime, because anime are so, you're not serialized. They have like a story they have story from the start to the finish, right? Whereas things like, there are some series out there I could watch, and, if it gets canceled, I might be disappointed, but, they're individual stories or something like that. I don't have to worry about it. Never bothered doing it. It's actually pretty trembling and sometimes relatable story. I'd recommend you, I'm guessing, watch ReZero, even if you can't fall off as boring deeper in the second season. I have seen so many clips of ReZero that have really hung me up and really got me to like think about things and made me want to watch the series. But yeah, again, it's they have this thing where they're not putting a lot of something's going on. They're not making it. Like they're not making it fast enough for me, I guess. They're not filling me with confidence that they're going to finish the series, right? And unfortunately, I think a lot of things, like you have a really good first season in something like anime, but this happens in like all of TV and stuff like that, And basically what'll happen is they will have like a really good first, maybe a really good second season, and then after that it just goes downhill as they're trying to like figure out how to really make the content worth it for people to watch or match the level. Like this happened with Bleach. And I'm a huge fan of Bleach. Bleach is one of my favorite anime of all time, which is kind of funny because Bleach in itself was a lot of a copy of other things, but it had enough fun in it, and it was pretty compelling. I will be right back, guys. I got to go do something. Chat amongst yourselves for a minute, but I'll be right back. I'm really sorry.
The town inside me and everyone's voice. Only I'm not there, just watching from afar. I can't go home because I'm afraid something will change. Me without me, I'm the one to blame. I've moved on by my own will. I had nothing else I wanted to do. Wasn't hard, but I didn't hate it. I did not even like it. I've been patient, but it was bearable. I've had a gray haze for a long time though. I never found out what it was. It's my stress, that's for sure. I never wanted to run away. I was very motivated. And what is this feeling? Who would I ask? I've been patient, but it was bearable. I've had a gray haze for a long time though. I never found out what it was. I taste like vegetables I don't like. The town inside me and everyone's voice. Only I'm not there, just watching from afar. I can't go home because I'm afraid something will change. Me without me, I'm the one to blame. Boom, boom, boom. Ooh, ooh. I'm not waiting for a Santa Claus. I already have the gifts, just can't open the box. I know all about it, no one can stop it. Unless I just have to do something about it. It's not even a case. I've been patient, but it was bearable. I've had a gray haze for a long time though. I never found out what it was. I hate the alarm clock I chose. The town inside me and everyone's voice. Only I'm not there, just watching from afar. I can't go home because I'm afraid something will change. Me without me, I'm the one to blame. My body is light. Let's paint the gray haze into sky blue. I know who you are. I'm not leaving you again. The town inside me and everyone's voice. Only I'm not there, just watching from afar. There is nowhere to go, that nowhere to go. It's all just food, you know. Me without me, I'm the one to blame. Place where I belong. No matter what changes, will no longer change me. No matter what change, will no longer change me. I can feel the light even after the sun goes down. Kiss me, please.
Shawty getting rough, she cut me, don't give a fuck. Shades of you know Kasai, she drugged and tied me up. Good thing I'm a savage, so simple, always manage. Flip up the script, leave a pin out to the mattress. Edgy till I die, these models call me senpai. Girl, I'm young the race, sucking blood till it runs dry. Staring at those legs, getting tranced by those thigh highs. Being hypnotized, so enthralled by those boy eyes. Oh my, it's the king of the itchy. Fangirls worldwide saying my voice is sexy. I don't care what you say, I know one thing, shit, they don't love you like I do.
And everyone's voice, only I'm not there, just watching from afar. I can't go home because I'm afraid something will change. Me without me, I'm the one to blame. I've moved on by my own will. I had nothing else I wanted to do. Wasn't hard, but I didn't hate it. I did not even like it. I've been patient, but it was bearable. I've had a gray haze for a long time though. I never found out what it was. It's my stress, that's for sure. I never wanted to run away. I was very motivated. Then what is this feeling? Who would I ask? I've been patient, but it was bearable. I've had a gray haze for a long time though. I never found out what it was. Tastes like vegetables I don't like. The town inside me and everyone's voice, only I'm not there, just watching from afar. I can't go home because I'm afraid something will change. Me without me, I'm the one to blame. Boom, boom, boom. Ooh, ooh. I'm not waiting for a Santa Claus. I already have the gifts, just can't open the box. I know all about it, no one can stop it, unless I just have to do something about it. It's not even a case. I've been patient, but it was bearable. I've had a gray haze for a long time though. I never found out what it was. I hate the alarm clock I chose. The town inside me and everyone's voice, only I'm not there, just watching from afar. I can't go home because I'm afraid something will change. Me without me, I'm the one to blame. My body is light. Let's paint the gray haze into sky blue. I know who you are. I'm not leaving you again. The town inside me and everyone's voice, only I'm not there, just watching from afar. There is nowhere to go, that nowhere to go. It's all just food, you know.
Wow, I'm back. Oh my god. You'd figure that after 3 years of streaming that I would remember to grab something to drink. Or that I would take care of my medication before I decided to come down and stream. Hey. At any rate. Sorry, I had to take something to drink. I had to have another thing to drink because I'm freaking thirsty. I was like, it's really dry down here in my office. Hooah! All right. Mom, I was upstairs. I was thinking about you, Azzy, because I'm like, okay, I was going to call you to wake you up and then realized it was 2 o'clock already. And I'm like, oh, I need to go stream. I can't. It's like, oh, that was crap. All right. Sorry. I'm having like, I don't know. Something's going on in my chest. I have no idea what's happening in my chest. It's probably a heart attack. It's fine. My legacy will be dying on stream. I have no idea. But I was going to talk about some things about anime. I was talking about isekais and how they kind of they've got me to the point where I'm kind of like turned off with anime. I really that's all I see now. I see a bunch of isekais and it's just it's just stopped me from watching anime because I just assume everything. I mean, I know not everything is that, but I just assume everything is going to be that, right? Another thing burnt me kind of hard too, because the last thing everybody told me was really fucking good. Like everybody, and people are still hyping it. You're like, oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. You got to watch it, Tay. You got to watch it. Go watch this like right now. And then I did. Like I was avoiding it for a while because it was so popular. You ever have that thing where like somebody's like, "Oh, hey, this is amazing. Everybody loves it. You should go watch it." And then you're like immediately revolted by it because it's like anytime somebody no, it's not Sword Art Online. That's a whole other story. But anytime somebody says to me, everybody loves this, or it's so popular, you should go watch it, I kind of tend to be turned off by when people say something like that. So I'm like, okay, so basically what you're saying is there's a few people who really love it, and there's probably like 30% of the people who watched it for that reason. And they might I don't know. I have this thing. I think a lot of people are like this, where you're just turned off by something because it's so popular. And it's like, why is this so popular? Is it so popular because it's good, or is it so popular because it just basically copies everything that's popular that people want, right? And I know you might say, well, I mean, if it's good that everybody likes it, then why wouldn't it be good? Well, because not everything has to be good. You just have to do the things that make people like something, right? You have to do the things that make people like something, whether that's following tropes of anime or copying something that somebody's done before. So I'm gonna shit. No, it's not Naruto. It's not Naruto, but it is in the same genre. Now the funny thing about Naruto is the fact that I did try watching Naruto. I didn't like it. I tried watching the second series, and that was a little bit better, but then I felt like I missed out. I felt like I watched a couple episodes of the second series, which was pretty okay. I was enjoying what I was seeing, but then I felt like I had to go back and watch the first series so I knew where everything came from, you know? And people kept telling me, it's like, no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to watch like the first series to watch the second one. And it's like, but I kind of want to. I had to do the same thing with Dragon Ball Z. Now, Dragon Ball has nothing to do with Dragon Ball Z. Like, there's so little it has to do with Dragon Ball Z, other than introduces a few characters, right? Dragon Ball Z is pretty standalone, but I still felt compelled to go watch Dragon Ball. And actually, the funny thing is, Dragon Ball is really good. That's a bad example. It's just an example of me being compelled to do something. From an outsider's perspective, Shippuden seems to be a lot better than it is. It just is. The first series of Naruto is just badly made. Right? I tried. I tried. It didn't, like, I understand when something doesn't take itself seriously, but even though something might, an anime or something might not take itself seriously, the people making it should take it seriously. And I felt like the whole time I was being treated like an idiot or a 5-year-old, right? Not even, Dragon Ball never did that, right? Dragon Ball never did that. Fucking Bleach never did that. And I'll get to Bleach. Bleach is one of my favorite anime of all time, and it's the same period of time as One Piece. I mean, and Naruto. Okay. Dragon Slayer. Dragon. Wait. Am I thinking of the right? Hold on. Let me make sure. No. I'm mixing up two. Sorry, not Dragon Slayer. Dragon Slayer is a whole different thing. Demon Slayer. Sorry. Demon Slayer. That's right. Yeah, Demon Slayer. Well, that was an ADHD brain fart. It's not like I'm intentionally forgetting the name of it. Yeah, Demon Slayer. Hello, Aki. Welcome back. And hi, Azzy. In case I didn't say hi, I think I said hi. All right. Everybody loves Demon Slayer. And it's always the same thing. I always hear the same thing. Demon Slayer, every time, because I'll ask somebody, I'll be like, well, what makes Demon Slayer so good for you? It's animated so nicely. It's, the fights are amazing. Yeah. It looks really pretty. Mm-hmm. And I'll ask that question. That's inevitably what the response that I'll get are those two things. It's animated really nice. Like, it's very well designed. It's very pretty. And the animation, like the fight scenes, are incredible. I thought what I watched of Demon Slayer was pretty good, but also pretty distracted by something YouTube would ban for me for talking about. I don't think YouTube's gonna ban you for talking about anything unless you're deliberately like insulting somebody or something. Here's the thing with Demon Slayer. My issue with Demon Slayer is that it wants me to feel something that's undeserved. Essentially, when you think about the first episode, and this is gonna be spoiler territory for what I can remember. So if you guys don't want to be spoiled for Dragon Slayer or Demon Slayer, I keep calling it Dragon Slayer. Dragon Slayer is a whole different thing. I'm not even gonna talk about that. Demon Slayer. So if you watch the first episode of Demon Slayer, it's basically the main character is coming home from a market or something. Like, he provides for his family. He is a good person. He selflessly works his ass off for his family of siblings and I believe his mother, right? And he goes, he's on his way home, right? And I think he gets like, I'm trying to remember. I think it like becomes night out, and then he has to hole up at some other person's house because he didn't quite make it home. And then in the morning he goes home, but like he finds out like something bad happened, so he's running home, and then he goes home and he finds all of his siblings are dead, and his mother's dead, murdered by a demon, and one of his sisters is still alive. So he's like all dedicated to making sure, to keeping her alive and making sure she's okay. And it just progresses from there. It progresses from there where he's like, oh, I gotta, he's gonna go fight demons and shit, like, right? Yeah, the typical thing. But like, it's deliberately painful. Like it's one episode and everything happens so quickly that it wants you to feel something, but it never established these characters. It was giving you flashbacks of these characters that just died. Just flashbacks. Like, I have no attachment to these people, other than the fact that, like, obviously seeing children being hurt or something like that, it's really hard for a father. But beyond that, I didn't care. Like, why should I care about these people? There's no they have no character. They're nothing. They're pixels on a screen. right? And so, like, they're trying to pull at your heartstrings, but it didn't work. And then I thought it was going to become okay because he's, like, really dedicated to saving his sister, which is cool, right? And so I tried. I watched for a few episodes, and I kind of see the way the story is progressing, and then something amazing happens. Apparently, his sister's just in a coma, and she's going to be like that for a couple of years. And there's, like, this whole training thing, and you didn't even get to see him train anything. It has, like, a few flashbacks. I think there's, like, one episode dedicated to it or something like that. And he's, like, training to become this, like, demon slayer. All they do is skip it. They skip everything. They skip all of the compelling parts that would make somebody go through this rigorous training to be able to kill demons. That's the compelling part. That's the part of the story that you want to know about. I wanted to know, you know, other than just his motivations for saving his sister, I want to see him, like, go through it. I want to see him, like, I want to see his thought processes. He's just a nobody. He's just a non-character. He has no personality. Maybe he gets one later on, but I didn't watch that far. Because I'm not all for spending 4 hours for the fucking series to get to a point. I refuse. I have better things to do with my time. There are anime out there better that do that better, right? And it's not that I have a problem with the premise of him becoming some sort of demon slayer, or that it's like it's an anime that has to do with a lot of, like, really pretty spectacular fights. Give me a reason to be there. If I wanted to just see one cool fight after another, I'd go watch somebody play a fucking video game. I'd go watch somebody play, like, a fighting game or something. Or I go watch an anime that has really good fights and really good story, like really compelling story. Now, from what I understand, is like the story does pick up at some point, right? And you can see some clips. Like, I've seen some clips of that. I've seen clips of, like, actual story moments. But every time I think about those episodes, I'm like, they were boring. Like, even the fight scenes were like, I've seen this before. I've seen this in other anime. Now, was it done better in other anime? But maybe not. But I've seen it in other anime. It's not surprising. Watch Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho has some of the most spectacular fights you'll ever fucking see. And it's got a story. And the character's a character. Like, he's got motivations, right? And the longer the series goes on, and his motivations become more and more clear, and, like, he's got character growth, and you understand the character. The same thing happens in Bleach. Ichigo is very, very much... Lots of people like to write off Bleach in the same manner that I'm talking about Demon Slayer. That, like, well, it just glosses over any kind of character development, and it doesn't. Like, I think Ichigo is probably one of the best developed characters in an anime ever. I think what people don't like about some people, it's very, very minority, but when people level that at Ichigo, I think it's because his motivations are simple. Like, he's not overly complicated. Like, his only goal is to protect his friends, and a lot of his suffering and pain comes from just his failures and his feelings of helplessness sometimes. And I think that's fine. But he's more than that too. Like, he's like a person who he doesn't fucking give up. Like, he never gives up. He's always, like, resolute, and he's always pushing the boundaries of what fuck you, Windows Update. Get out of here. He's always pushing the boundaries of what somebody can do. Like, I don't know. I really like that. I'm not saying, like, Bleach has the best character development ever. I'm just saying that I think it's pretty good. And I think there's other characters in Bleach that also have really good character development, given the fact that it's actually kind of more of an ensemble show. Only anime I watched where the fights were hype enough to make me giggle was MHA for the first... Yeah, I know. MHA was cool. It was enjoyable. I think MHA... My Hero Academia had awesome characters. Some of them were awesome characters. I don't like how many characters it has. It's a little hard to follow sometimes. It has really good fights. It lingers a little bit too much on the main character trying to get his shit together, but that's okay. But like, the thing with MHA is that the characters are interesting enough to watch, especially like the fact that like MHA is clearly a love letter to American superheroes. It's like not a question that the author of MHA loves American superheroes. It's not like the Japanese people have their own style when it comes to heroes and you know, stuff like that. And the US has its own style. Americans have its own style of like this as American superheroes. And it's done in an anime, and I fucking love it because it's all about how the author sees American superheroes. And it's an interesting look at it. And it's kind of almost like a dissection of American superheroes. And I kind of like that idea. But it gets bogged down too much in too many characters. And then some things get like really confusing with some of the characters. Like sometimes I really want to root for a character, and then sometimes I think they're an insufferable asshole. Like I don't, and it's just like, yeah. I like the fighting game they made of it though. Yeah, I mean a lot of the fighting games that go to like anime tend to be actually pretty good for some reason. Even Naruto had like some pretty good fighting games if I remember right, like some fighting adventure games. Having the MC find their family dead in the first episode is awful in terms of feeling. Decent framing device, I guess, but you can't extract feeling. Okay, my thing with this, Ruby, and because like I think if there's a person that I can engage with on this level in terms of actual storytelling and the concepts of storytelling, is you spent 20 minutes on establishing this character and his siblings and his mother, right? You spent 20 minutes on, like maybe 20 minutes. It's actually probably like 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You should have flashbacks. Fine, have flashbacks. You have one episode. Maybe the first episode should be dedicated to actually just showing Kanjiro, is that his name? Show him doing what he's doing without all the shit happening. Show him taking care of his family. Don't just show him being happy with his family or something. Show what he's sacrificing. Show everything he's doing, what makes him a good person, okay? What's his family about? Who are they? What's some of their history? Like, you don't have to do a lot of stuff. Just show me something. You know? And don't show me in a flashback you threw in there because it's an afterthought. That's what it felt like. It felt like it was an afterthought. Like, they took 3 episodes and they rushed through this whole concept of his family is dead, he's saving his sister, she's turning into a demon, and then a couple days later he starts his training arc that we never get to see. We see very small bits and pieces of it, and then it basically rushes to the anime rushes you to a point where they can kick it off for real, you know? And it's like there's no gravity to this. I don't care about this. Okay, what could they have done? If they were just going to take a couple of episodes and make it like, this is like the stuff he's going through in order to save his sister, and this is the stuff that happened to him, skip those episodes. Go straight to the episode where you wanted us to start with and where the series actually starts, right? Start it there. And then over the course of the season, show us the shit that happened before. Show us, because I think that's way better to do it that way, because at least that way it starts off a mystery. Why is he fighting so hard? Why is he fighting like? Why is he so good? Why is his sister like that? Why is he protecting his sister? What happened to the rest of his family? And just gradually show that. That is way more effective than taking 1 or 2 episodes and saying, this is what happened. And then just skipping it like there's like it's inconsequential. Right? We're talking about Demon Slayer and how... I'm shitting on Demon Slayer. And I keep calling it Dragon Slayer because I have Dragon Slayer, which is a totally different thing on my head. If I see for 5 minutes are dead, You don't even see him for 5 minutes. I don't think you're given 5 minutes of time. I don't, like, they're all dead. I'm not saying the concept is bad. I am saying the execution is awful. The execution is so bad, and it turned me off immediately because it's like, you are trying to force me into feeling something, and I know it. You're trying to force me into feeling bad for this character, and I know it. And that triggers something in me that says I'm not going to. So like it kind of ruins the whole concept for me. If they had started with Tanjiro finishing his training with the fight with the two ghosts or whatever the fuck they are, I can't remember, because that's the like last time. If they had started with that and then from there proceeded with the rest of the series and then just like intersperse these like little slices, like these flashbacks of what happened to his family, how he discovered his sister, and how he dealt with the first demon that he dealt with, like that whole debacle. If they had done that in slices and showed you that, and then finally revealed, like, maybe keep it a secret that his sister is kind of like turning into this demon or whatever, and then finally reveal what his sister is actually becoming and why it's so important for him to fucking protect her. Right? That is way more effective. Way, way, way better. And I would feel like, okay, I'm gradually getting a look at this, and I might not feel anything for the people who died in the flashback, but I will definitely feel way more for Tanjiro and what that fucker's been through. I will feel way more for him because I'm not feeling like this is just forced in there just as a way to explain things really quickly so we can get to the really cool stuff. You know, that's what I feel like. I watched 3 episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho and it made me cry. Portrayal grief. It's good. It's good. Yu Yu Hakusho is genuinely fucking good. Okay? Like, it looks so goofy and comedic on the outside, but it's during its like dark, incredibly sad moments that it shows you what it's really all about. I mean, there is shit. Look, I'm gonna spoil shit for you. I'm in a spoiling mood because I want to talk about it. One of my favorite moments in Yu Yu Hakusho is right at the fucking beginning, where basically he's got this dude. Oh shit! I'm knocking over crap on my desk. He's got this dude. All right, if you have never seen Yu Yu Hakusho, there's this person in school. Well, he goes to a different school, but like, in Yu Yu Hakusho is about a 14-year-old boy who dies saving a little girl from getting run over by a car. And then his whole goal, he's basically given a second chance by a person in the afterlife. I'm not going to try to explain it. He's given a second chance, but in order to get his second chance, he's got to do a bunch of these tasks, and he's got to do some things in order to come back to life. There's a time limit on it that he's got to do these things. This is how it starts. This isn't the whole story, by the way. This is just how it starts. And then, but he's going places and he's seeing how people feel without him being there, because he's kind of seen as like this punk. He's seen as this, all he does is fight and get into fights and hurt people. That's how everybody sees him. But he doesn't really hurt people as much. He loves fighting, but he fights mainly because everybody gives him shit. Like he fights because he kind of has to. And he's feared, like people are scared of him. And, but it's more of his, it's more like rumors and, the things people say about him. Like there's teachers that hate him. There's like literally a teacher that does everything he can to fuck over a 14-year-old boy and get him expelled. And, but anyways, back to my original point. There's this other student named Kuwabara. Who's basically his rival. Every time they meet up, Kuwabara wants to kick his ass. And Yusuke, the main character, demolishes Kuwabara every time they see each other. But like, you know, the funny thing is that Kuwabara has like this weird like honor code to him. Like there's this weird sense of like moral direction that he has, and he's a good fighter, but Yusuke kicks his ass all the time. However, what Yusuke finds out, because he goes to like his funeral, his wake essentially, and he's watching people come and go, and he's kind of commenting on how he's like, I don't even know why these people are here. You know, he just assumes that everybody hates him. And then Kuwabara comes in and he's bawling. He is like beside him. He is freaking the fuck out because Yusuke is dead. And it's actually heartbreaking. It's like, it's making me tear up just thinking about it. Hello, Ergo, welcome. And so that kind of sets the stage for everything that happens after. Eventually, Yusuke does, like, he becomes alive again, and he becomes what's called a spirit detective. He does detective things with, and he's got a it's good. And there's even like that part's sad. That's right at the beginning of the series, and it actually makes you sad. It does enough to establish the characters right away. Like, this is the first few episodes. It does enough with the characters where you know enough about them where it stuns you to your core when you see it, just as it did Yusuke, and you can just see his reaction. And then, like, everything that they do with him, every time he feels something, it's visceral. There is this point in the series, because up to this point, Yusuke has been really strong. He's always been able to tackle all the challenges put in front of him, fighting-wise or with his intelligence or things like that. But there's this point where he meets a villain for this particular season, and he is so fucking frightened by him. Like, he visibly shows, and it's like the first time you ever see Yusuke really fucking scared that he's gonna die. And this guy didn't do anything. Like, nobody else knows this guy is there. He just feel his presence, and it is so sad. It's good, guys. Go watch Yu Yu Hakusho. It is amazing. It's fucking hilarious, and then its moments. It'll always feel like its sad moments are a little bit cheesy, but they're very, very good. They're very, very good. I swear to God, they made them almost feel a little cheesy on purpose, and I think it comes down to the music, which is good. But it's also kind of dated feeling. But it never in a million years. You just watch it. It's so fucking awesome. Yu Yu Hakusho is fantastic. Spoiled a bit. I'm sorry. I know I didn't spoil anything that's major. There's nothing major I spoiled for anybody. The Kuwabara thing, it's still gonna make you cry. When you see it, it's still going to make you cry. It's going to pop up. It's going to make you cry. But that is literally, like, almost right away in the series. And there are so many other things. So don't feel that it's spoiled. I didn't actually spoil that much. But yeah, just go watch it. It's super fantastic. So when I see something like Demon Slayer and how they handle death and I never feel like Tanjiro's grieving. Never. I think that's his name, right? I never feel like he's upset. Not once. I feel like he wants vengeance. Maybe. They kind of imply that. It's not really clear. He never really looks super angry about anything or super emotional about anything. Anyways, so I tried watching this, and I keep seeing people talk about it. It's like, oh yeah, oh my God, the movie just came out, and it's so good. It has all these fights that are really great looking. It's like, yeah, I get that. Look, there's other series out there that have fucking amazing fights that are actually unique, right? It's not the same old crap. I mentioned one earlier, Full Metal Alchemist. That has some of the most devastating scenes I have ever seen in any kind of storytelling. And it has quite a few of them. It's not just one, it's not just two, it's quite a few. That series will just make you cry, like, constantly. Because I don't know, like, between the acting, and it's the English dub. I mean, the English dub is so good. But between the acting and the story that it's going through, and then, like, god damn, it's so good. There's a reason why this is considered, like, one of the best anime of all time. It is legit it feels like everything has a purpose. It's not just, they didn't just make it so that you can see cool fights. The fights are related to something, and they're related to the story, and the story of what these people are going through. And the more you find out, the more you are just like, it's like, I think Full Metal Alchemist genuinely scares me. Not in terms of like I'm scared of anything for myself. It just scares me because of how dark and devious the villains are. Like the villain is, I don't say the primary villain, but like the villains that are in the show are incredibly competent, intelligent, and they're not necessarily always evil, which kind of gives you like this really weird tingly feeling. Like I don't like, it's like sometimes I can understand why they do the things they do. I just don't understand why they're doing it the way they're doing it. But I think Full Metal Alchemist is like a good example of a show that can like actually just take you on an incredibly emotional journey, and still have the best fighting scenes you've ever seen in your life. They're so good. They're fantastic. They're very well animated. They're very pretty. You can have all of that. You don't have to sacrifice one for another, you know? Jorking. I'm hosting anime night today, so probably gonna watch it. Which one are you watching? I'm sorry, I'm just kind of going on my thing here. I haven't cried since 9. It won't make me cry. I mean, some people don't. I mean, some people feel like it's a point of honor to not cry. I cry all the time. I don't care. I have to get shit off my chest, and it's a good relief. It feels good. I don't get the Slayer. I mean, the Swift fights. Oh, Cowboy Bebop. I have a love for Cowboy Bebop. I'm a very big Cowboy Bebop fan. I'm so in love with the villain. Is actually a person. New MJ put a name. you? Nah, I just can't cry. I want to cry. I just can't. Oh, okay. I mean, so I know some people who are like that. Yeah. Honestly, I think. There's two anime that I swear to God they wrote specifically to make you cry. Like, it's impossible for me to not cry. Basically, every episode of Violet Evergarden, every fucking episode of that, every single time, it's just like, I don't even want to cry right now, but I'm crying because it's fucking ridiculous. So Violet Evergarden, and there's another one. There's one that was on Netflix, which is really good. It's called Dragon Pilot. Oh my God. That anime made me cry so fucking hard. Dragon Pilot is so good and nobody talks about it. And I am flabbergasted that nobody talks about that anime. Would be nice to, yeah, I mean, it does feel good. It does feel good. I mean, even when it comes from something like you're crying because you're seeing something, you're not necessarily crying because something happened to you, you know? Even that's very cathartic. You cry out of your chest, you sure that's not milk? What? When the anime, I always want to do anime nights, but I always feel like how do I explain it? I always feel like we never finish something. Like if we watched a series, we would watch a movie, but if we watched an anime series, I always feel like it would never be finished. Like we probably watch like a few episodes and then we wouldn't watch it anymore. I do movie nights. I still want to do movie nights, but they kind of come and go depending on, you know, the amount of time I usually have, like, to do stuff. I'm generally down to watch anime. But a lot of times, yeah, I'm very particular about anime. And you guys are finding that out right now. Just simply because I think there's this is my main argument about why anime just kind of really sucks now, is finding the good anime in all of the mediocre anime. I'm not going to even say it's bad anime. There's a lot of anime out there that's perfectly watchable. It's just meh. It's like, it's okay. But yeah, like a lot of the isekai stuff has gotten me just completely fucking riled. Completely and utterly riled. Just simply because it's like, you're clearly just copying. Like, why would I want to watch your anime if you're just a carbon copy of something else? Even if you have something cool and a unique take on something in your anime, how the hell am I supposed to know that if you are just blatantly copying the style of every other anime out there? And this goes for anything. This goes for anything. Now, sometimes you can have a copycat that is better than the original. That happens a lot. But when you see so many copycats to something, when I see so many copycats to something, I tend to just be like, oh, I don't care. You know? Isekai is just everywhere these days. Like, it's oversaturated. Yeah, that's one of the things about anime. Anime feels very oversaturated with the same things. And that's basically what I've been getting at for this portion of this. Hi, Beanie. There are two, right now, animes with the same exact idea of evolution type of adventure. There's probably more. Want to know an anime I liked? I like Seven Deadly Sins. I've said this before. And some people look at me funny. And I don't know why they look at me funny. They look at me funny because obviously the main character's tendency for touching somebody inappropriately. And I'm in my own mind, I know why. In my own, I don't, it's a weird decision, but that's not the reason I like the anime. I like the anime for everything else it is. I like the characters. I think the characters are really good. And I think the anime was really good until they kind of like just botch it in the third season. And you're just like, oh, okay, this is boring. But it was a weird decision. It was a really weird decision to do what they did with the anime, showing the main character being pretty gropey. And it's like even with the explanation they give for that behavior, it's like, look, there's no point in here where this is okay. I'm sorry, guys. I can't. So I did stop watching after like the second season. I stopped watching it. I did watch a third season. I think the third season, I was just like, other than like a really amazing moment in the third season, it was pretty stupid. Seven Deadly Sins, by the way, is stupid all the way through in general, but it's a fun kind of stupid. And the characters, they wasted such an interesting concept. They wasted such an interesting concept with the stupid groping shit. I don't understand why they thought that would be a good idea. Because I'm not even going to spoil it. You can go look it up if you want to. The concept of what happens to the two main characters in the show and why things go down the way they do is really fucking actually kind of interesting. The other characters that are along for the ride are really, really cool. You got a giant girl who has like a history. Like all these characters have a history, and you're gradually finding them out. And all of them are like usually pretty fucking tragic, and sometimes they're pretty like interesting in terms of, wow, I never thought of that happening in that particular way, or I never thought of this in this way. Like, it's weird. Seven Deadly Sins is at once like really cool concepts mixed in with some really dumb shit, and I don't get it. But I did watch it, and I thought other than the groping shit, it was pretty good. YouTube thinks I'm a passionate mechanic now. Interesting. Boop 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 boo. To keep looking at Lego Technic speed builds. Interesting. I like Death Note until, well, the point everyone says it fell off because it didn't devolve at that point. I've never seen Death Note. I've seen so much stuff about Death Note. I have never actually seen Death Note. And I don't know if I ever will, because despite how good everybody says it is, I don't like the... Sometimes a show has a message that I just I can't get behind it. I think that's my main problem with Evangelion is Evangelion, I never really liked the message of the show. So it always felt like an interesting concept in terms of a story. But actually I have issues with Evangelion because the characters are awful. They're just bad. Like, there's just no, like, redeemable qualities to the characters in Evangelion, it feels. The first season of Death Note was so lovely. To be honest, the second season intro in Death Note, though, I like it even if it was too grungy. I've been putting it off for a while, but I'm going to go get a framed photo of Mona Lisa Neko arc. What the fuck? Time to watch Death Note and Psycho-Pass. Psycho-Pass is good! Psycho-Pass is fantastic. The first season is fantastic. The second season is something. The second season is like, I don't know. It's something. I wouldn't say it's bad, but coming off of the first season, the second season feels very bland to me. And Psycho-Pass, what I love about Psycho-Pass, just watch the first season. You watch the first season, you're good to go. I mean, at least some things open, and you're kind of like wondering what the fuck's going to happen. But they never do anything with it anyways. It never felt like they did anything with it. Like, because they present this whole thing that you now know something's happening, and it needs to, like, somebody needs to fight against it and fix it. Is that going to happen? No. But the first season of Psycho-Pass is, oh my god, it is a roller coaster ride. It is so fucking good. It's like, it reminds me a lot of Ghost in the Shell, not that it's the same story, but both Ghost in the Shell, standalone complex, and Psycho-Pass both present this like really fucking cool but weird mystery in a really interesting like futuristic world. And Psycho-Pass is incredibly fucking dystopian. It is insanely dystopian. But it presents itself in a way like, oh yeah, just watch it. Psycho-Pass is really good. So you can't go wrong with the first season of Psycho-Pass. I will say though that the first episode could be a little bit triggering for anybody if you're kind of surprised by what's going on. But luckily, I think that's pretty much the only thing. But it is a very intense anime. Very, very intense. I mean, the message of Death Note isn't that he's a good guy. Well, no. It's not about good guy or anything like that. It's I don't know how to describe how I feel. I guess it's like, it's hard. I don't know. I need to really think about that. But like, the thing about Death Note is it makes me feel the same way as like Evangelion does, and not for the same reason. Not for exactly the same reason. Like, I don't think Death Note's characters are underdeveloped or badly developed or they're awful. I think the problem with Death Note is more the fact that, at least in my mind, I'm not going to get any satisfaction from it. Like there's nothing that's going to be super satisfying. It's kind of like how there's a lot of people out there that like to watch documentaries or basically shows that revolve around a serial killer, right? There's a bunch of them. There's Hannibal. There's what's the one? Dexter. There's a couple of them. That doesn't compel me. I think Death Note's the same thing. I think Death Note is just a supernatural serial killer kind of thing. And I don't find that interesting. I find it disturbing. So, Psycho-Pass Brotherhood, yeah, Psycho-Pass is so good. Psycho-Pass is really good. It's a story where you follow a villain. I could be down for following a villain. I have no problem with following a villain in a story. I don't particularly like people who are serial killers. And at its core, that's what Death Note is. It's somebody who's a serial killer. Even if, like, maybe there is a compelling reason for him to be the way he is, but I'm not interested in that because I don't think there's an excuse, right? Maybe there's something there that I'm not getting, but for me, that is one of the reasons I never watch Death Note, is because like I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to be able to get into it. So dystopian that Russian likes it. Look, okay. I don't know how to describe. I think the thing about Psycho-Pass is it's really like good looking too. Like the animation in it is just, it has story and animation and style. See, everybody could talk about animation, right? But you can have the prettiest animation in the world, but if it has no like interesting style to it, nobody's gonna care. At least I don't think anybody would. Yeah, like even Demon Slayer, I can look at it and say this definitely has a style. Like the way that Demon Slayer uses colors and shadow is actually like, and believe it or not, I think it's actually very reminiscent of how Yu-Gi-Oh! I haven't seen anything new from Yu-Gi-Oh! But how Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to do its animation for its anime, right? Which it has that kind of like, I want to call it cell shading. I don't know if it's considered cell shading, but it reminds me of cell shading. And I think Demon Slayer also uses a similar concept. It's not the same thing, but the way it uses blacks in its coloring, offset by things like magenta and purples and some other like neon-esque colors, and then there you have it's like color palette is its style. Like you know when something's Demon Slayer, right? You know when it's Demon Slayer. Even if it's not any of the characters you would recognize, you know it's Demon Slayer. And that's why people recognize it so well, is because it has that feel. It has that animation and that style to it. Hello! What's going on, Val? It's absolutely an unsatisfying series. It's definitely not for you then, which is much as I'll decry it. Taste is taste. Yeah, I mean, if you like it, again, I said this at the beginning. If you like any of the things I'm talking about, that's perfectly fine. I'm just a person who has an opinion about things, right? Because I think people feel it's like some people will come away from a person criticizing something they don't like and feel like I'm saying, or the other person is saying, like, you're stupid for liking this. And it's like, no, I mean, there are things that I objectively think that some people might be kind of stupid for liking. I'm not going to point those out. I don't need that kind of drama in my life. However, I'm not talking about anything like that right now. I think everybody has their own taste. And there's like lots of people out there that love isekai and just they like the concept, and they're going to watch a lot of them and enjoy them. Whereas me, it's probably, for me, it's just a principle thing. It's like, I want to see new, fun, unique things. It's not like I hate isekai. I hate how everybody is copying isekai because it's popular. And I really dislike the fact that it works, right? Because if it didn't work, they wouldn't be copying it. But it actually works. And it's frustrating because it's like, I want to see another show. I want to see another show that's on par with Full Metal Alchemist. I want to see another show that's on par with Cowboy Bebop. I'm not saying I want to see a show that's like that. I am saying I want to see one that's on par with that quality, right? And they exist. Certainly, they're making ones that exist out there that are on par and that I'm looking for, but I can't find them because the anime market is so saturated with all the other crap that I don't want to see that I can't find them. It's annoying. It's like you could have a really good anime out there and nobody will be talking about it because everybody's talking about that time I was reincarnated as the garter belt for the president's daughter in the 1800s, and now I'm living on the moon with panties. it sounds ridiculous, but you know that there's more ridiculous anime titles out there right now. You can have it. Go make an anime to that. It's fine. I think there's an anime called like Garter Belt and Panties or some shit like that. Like I think there is. Although I heard that anime's actually pretty good, so fuck if I know. We don't talk about the modern Yu-Gi-Oh series. It cut off at Vrains. There is no such thing as sevens. Rush Duel is a myth. I don't even know. I've given up a lot of things that I used to love in terms of like franchises that are still going. Pokemon. I used to watch Pokemon on a pretty regular basis. You know, when it was still basically man, I was a little baby. But fucking watching like all the Gen 1 shows and stuff like that. I remember going and watching in theater. I was like 5 or 6, watching the Pokemon movie. I don't think it was the first one though. I think it was the second one. Where like I think Ash dies and then Pikachu like fucking electrocutes him and he's fine or whatever. And I think Misty was crying. I don't remember. It was something like that. I think Mewtwo was in it. Was it Mewtwo? I think Mewtwo was in it. It was like Pokemon 2000 or some shit like that. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, I remember seeing that in theaters when I was like 5 or 6. That was I remember liking that movie a lot actually. You think that's the first one? Maybe that is the first one, or maybe I'm mixing up 2 movies. I've seen like 3 Pokemon movies, but Mashal? What's Mash? I don't know what that is. That's a banger. Garter Belt and Panty is very Jetix era series. I've heard of the title. I've never actually seen it. Val, playing Elden Ring DLC is harder. I've heard people talk about the DLC, and it's like, yeah, this is a bitch. Elden Ring itself, I haven't played it yet. It was on sale. I was waiting for it to go on sale, and then it was on sale for like a good price, and like right in the middle of when I didn't have the money to pay for it. I think that's the first movie I have the VHS. What's a VHS? What's a VHS? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. So like having 3 promotional Dragonites from it. I have like 3. Oh yeah, they used to have the. I forgot about that. I forgot about like the promotional stuff. That was back when I had Pokemon cards too, so I probably had one myself. I remember I saw that. I saw something else too that was like right about that time. Was it the first movie? I don't fucking know. I don't know. I was so young. Like, I just remember being there with, like, a couple of my friends. And then one of their parents, so. Magic and Muscles is mash. Oh. I'm confused. Basically, Harry Potter, but the MC works to actually earn his place at the magic school and doesn't have magic in a society where those without magic are persecuted. It's really good. Oh, interesting. I just never heard of it. Is that like a newer thing or is it another thing? I don't fucking know. I feel really ignorant right now. He's literally me. But yeah, so that's mostly my rant on anime. And it all came around because I saw the whole thing. Like, I saw Freerun becoming popular, and then I actually saw some clips from it, and it looks really freaking good. But I'm actually kind of concerned with it. Now, that concern has been alleviated because somebody I trust, a friend of mine who has seen it, has told me that it is actually good, not just it's popular, so it's good. So I'm eager to watch it, but I need to figure out how to get around the Crunchyroll problem. I'm not getting Crunchyroll to watch it. Crunchyroll can suck it. So I'll probably just end up watching it on a 1, 2, 3 movies or something. Who needs to pay for Crunchyroll? I'm not paying for Crunchyroll for one series anyways. That would be dumb. Actually, I prefer to own my anime. I prefer to have like an actual copy of my anime. Ah, yummy. Some more recent anime. See, now how am I supposed to? I've never seen anything or heard anything about this. Like, how long has it been out? Is it relatively new? Is it older? Because I've never heard anything about this, and this is the exact reason why. Because I always see things about that time I was reincarnated as a planet, and now the moon wants me, or. I always see shit about those anime. They wrapped up a second season during the winter. DMU a funny way with no ads. Oh, nice. Thank you. I'm glad you like my model. It's specifically my Pride Month model. Like maybe a year? Oh, okay. So it's not. So it's got to get some momentum yet. Mashal is 2 seasons in. Is it finished or is it still ongoing? Because I do prefer anime to be finished before I bother with it. Mainly because I don't want to be gypped out of an ending. The anime club at my college watched season 1. I feel like I missed out on anime clubs. I missed out on any kind of college experience that had clubs. Oh no, it's got momentum. We're waiting for them to announce season 3. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like anime was like such a huge part of my life. And it was one of the things that would keep me like, look, I'm not gonna lie. Anime saved my life. Legit saved my life. There was a period of time where I was very much ready to not exist in this world anymore. But because of 2 very specific events, one specific event, and then one anime, it distracted me long enough to allow me to get over the worst part of what was happening. If you want a complete anime, it's nowhere close. I prefer it to be complete. It's like, okay, I'm not trying to say this to make you guys feel bad for me. Like that part of my life is over, thank fucking God. But it was hard. I was having a really hard time. There's a lot of reasons why I got through that. One of them was an anime. Because when things were happening, I got to sit down and watch an anime, because basically it ended up being me breaking up with my significant other, and it was not a fun time. They were not a person who was very trustworthy, and I gave them a lot of my life. And it hurt. It destroyed me. It still has consequences for me to this day. But I don't want to dwell on that. But what I got to do was, at that same time, I discovered an anime. I just say discovered. I say discovered, but I mean it had been around for a while, long time. And that was Oh My Goddess. And I watched this anime. I don't know what I was expecting. But I watched it, and what I got to watch was a story about just literally 2 people falling in love, and they're not dicking around with like there's no like stupidity involved in terms of like they know they love each other. I mean, there's shit that tries to stop them from being together, but that doesn't work. And it's just a very wholesome series. It's a very, very wholesome series, and I really, really liked it. And it lifted me up enough to make it through like the worst part of what I was going through. And no, it's not because it was an anime that it had this effect. It was just because I thought it was a really good story and I really enjoyed it at the time. And it's one of my favorite anime of all time now. And I wish that we had stuff that was like that. Like, I wouldn't say Oh My Goddess is some pillar of amazing anything, but it's just genuinely good storytelling. It's fun. It's a fun, like, fairly romantic, cute series that isn't, I mean, it has ridiculous things to it, but it's not like the actual feelings, like the actual things that are happening feel pretty not ridiculous. So I don't know. Why not go back? I do. I actually do go back and watch anime series that, from older, that either I love or I haven't seen before. For example, I've been kind of itching to go back and watch Standalone Complex. I haven't seen that series in a while. There's another series I want to see. Funnily enough, somebody has that name in the chat. It's called Ergo Proxy. I kind of want to see that series. I've always wanted to see that series. There's another series I wanted to see for a long time now. It's called Blue Gender. That looked really good. There's like a whole bunch of older series that I would really love to watch, but trying to find old anime sometimes can be a real big bitch. Sometimes it's a real big pain in the ass to find old anime. It's all dependent on how popular that anime was. There's an anime I watched last year that I had never had interest in, never had one bit of interest in, until somebody in my server, Kai, was like, hey, we should watch this anime because I think you'll like it. And then when Kai told me what it was, I was like, oh, I've heard of that anime, but I don't think that's going to be my thing because I don't really get into the sport. Like, I know nothing about the sport that the anime portrays, which is Yuri on Ice. Fuck, was I wrong? God damn. That anime is really good. And I'm very, very sad. There are things about that anime that make me very sad. But Yuri on Ice is a tremendously good anime. Especially, I don't know. I'm not even gonna say anything about it. Like, if you guys have seen it, you know what I mean. If you guys haven't seen it, you should just fucking watch it. Just watch Yuri on Ice. You're gonna go into the first episode and you get like the first and second episode and you're gonna be hooked. And you're like, oh my god. And then you're gonna like, as it progresses, you're gonna be more and more hooked. And it's gonna hit the end where Yuri on Ice ends, and you're gonna be so fucking hooked, and you're gonna realize that you are never gonna get any more. Because the studio that made it went on to make like other like really popular shit, so they just don't give a shit about it anymore. But Yuri on Ice is fantastic. Did you push the silly triangle off your countertop? I don't see it. I actually, okay, all the different graphics and stuff were there, but I have been editing, I've been working on getting OBS cleaned up a little bit so that I can basically redo everything, because I'm going to go through like a major overhaul of my streaming stuff. So yeah, they're still there. Everything is just turned off except for, well, okay, I guess the Magu and Chibi Dora are still back there on the bed. They got forgot about. They're kind of part of the scenery. But no, I think the triangle's actually still around. Hold on. Boop 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 boop. This one? There you go. There we go. We got the triangle back. Have you ever watched Time of Eve? It's like an anime about a cafeteria where androids can't be detected. And you may guess already where this... What? A cafeteria? Where androids can't be detected. A cafeteria where androids can't be detected. And you may already guess what this world's still... I actually have no idea. I might just be, doing a Femboy stupid moment, and I'm not saying something. Hi, Jet. Welcome to the stream. I'm bitching about anime. Welcome. So, I've never heard of it, actually. Actually, you want to know what I want? I want another really good sci-fi anime. They don't make many sci-fi anime. Like, actual sci-fi anime. If they do, it's usually a movie, which is fine. But I want to see something truly like... Okay, Steins Gate being one of the best anime ever made, which is pretty heavily, like, entrenched in science fiction, is like... Oh my god, Steins Gate. That's a really good anime. I honestly... I kind of put it above nearly every other anime. It depends on the day. But I genuinely think Steins Gate is probably the best anime ever made. It has everything. It's got some of the best animation I've ever seen. It's got some of the greatest, like, writing and jokes I've ever seen. It is, like, parts goofy and silly, and then it gets, like, uber fucking serious. Oh my god. Steins Gate is... Oh, I just want to sit down and watch it now. Steins Gate is fucking fantastic. Watch an episode someday. I will. I mean, I have to figure it out. I have to figure out where I can find it. Yeah, I get like truly confused when somebody tells me they don't like Steins Gate. And it's always the same thing. They'll watch the first episode and be like, I didn't get it. I was like, okay, look, I guess that could be a valid criticism. The first episode is a little cryptic. It's a little cryptic. And I think I think that's deliberate. Like, I mean, I understood that it was deliberate. It's like, I remember actually thinking that. I remember it was like, I don't understand what's going on. Maybe I should watch the second episode and see if they tell you what's going on. And they do gradually reveal what's happening. But some people just don't like that. They don't like having a really weird mystery where they can't wrap their head around a concept. Even though that is a very common way to write a story, where you present a mystery right away and you just do not know what the fuck is happening or what people are talking about. And then it's gradually like revealed to you what's going on, and you're like, and then you like think back towards the beginning of whatever you're reading or watching, and you're like, oh my god, it's all being wrapped. And this is what Steins Gate does so brilliantly, is it wraps everything up. It brings everything that you've seen, all of the batshit insane things you've seen, all of the little things that you noticed or that registered in your brain and you didn't really even realize it until it's brought up again, and you're like, what the fuck? And it's mind-blowing. It is so fucking mind-blowing, because it's the simple premise is you think you're watching a crazy person. It looks like you're literally following, the main character is fucking nuts, just absolutely a crazy fucking weird dude. Like, you are absolutely crazy, and then lo and behold, he's not. So fucking good. I love it. Anyways, it's a good series. Go watch it. A lot of people just annoyingly not curious. It's okay. It's okay. I think Steins Gate are for people who are looking for Steins Gate. Does that make sense? I think Steins Gate are for people who are genuinely looking for an anime like Steins Gate that will tickle your brain and make you think and make you it's a puzzle. It's for people who like puzzles. It's for people who like puzzles. And when the puzzle pieces come together, it makes a picture that it's fucking mind-blowing. And I love it. And I love the fact, because, okay, so here's the compelling thing for me. For a lot of people, you might watch Steins Gate and go, because there's a lot of references to real world things. I mean, technically they live in the real world, but like there's a lot of references to things that have happened in the real world that are very they like might be like either buried in like popular, pop culture stuff. Like they make like a lot of pop culture references, but they also make a lot of references to internet mysteries, like actual real internet mysteries and stuff like that. And when they piece everything together and they kind of show you what they come up with, it's so just literally mind-blowing. I can't even describe how good it is. Just go watch it. It's riveting from the beginning. Like, you'll watch it, you'll be like, this is cute, and then your brain will explode, and then everything else will explode, and then you watch it to the end of the series, and then you're like, what the fuck just happened? I don't know, but I like it. That's my experience. It is like a roller coaster ride with a finale. I love analyzing it from the first episode because someone who brought it actually told me to go to. Yeah, no, it's definitely one of those series that is deserving of analysis. Not just in terms of its story, but its actual like the way it tells the story and the way it does things. It's interesting. Like every part of it is interesting. The characters feel very real. Well, most of the characters feel very real. And it doesn't shy away from being incredibly dark. And it's always really dark when you least expect it to be dark. It's very surprising in that way. And it does so without being really rug pully. Like, I think there's one, like, huge rug pull moment that it has in the whole series, and I think it's deserved. Like, the rug pull moment is definitely deserved, but it's deserved because it was, like, fully intended at that point. Like, it's fully intended for that rug to be pulled, and then you're going through it, and you're trying to make sense of everything while trying to watch the main character also make sense of everything. And you're watching the main character struggle through everything that he's going through, like all of the everything that's happening that he's going through, and you can't help but feel as devastated as he does. It's so good. I can't praise it enough. It is better. I genuinely think it's better than Cowboy Bebop. I genuinely think it's better than Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It is definitely better than Demon Slayer. It's better than nearly anything I can think of. And I've seen it so many times, and every time I see it, it's one of those things that has something new to offer every time you watch it. Yeah, Steins Gate, super good, super fucking good. I can relate to Okabe a lot, and it's so painful because you feel it. He's the person, and especially for me, I want to spoil the struggle, but I know. I'm trying so hard not to spoil anything because I genuinely, like, this is it's not that one spoiler is gonna destroy the series. It's not like that. It's that if people want to go see it, I want you to experience it all the way without being spoiled on anything, because it's just good. It's just fucking good. It's good as a story. It doesn't have to be buried in an anime. This could have been a live action show. It could have been a live action show, and if they could have got the right characters for it, or the right people to play the characters for it, it would have been good. It could have been a book, and it would have been good. As a matter of fact, it started out as a visual novel that you can buy on Steam. You can go do that too, which that's supposed to be fantastic as the anime, because of course, the anime is based off of it. In my opinion, the best way to kill the tension of a scene is making the audience learn vital information before the character. I respectfully disagree. If that's not pulled off correctly, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. If it's pulled off correctly, I think it creates more tension. Because when you know something before a character does, suddenly the tension, it's not the tension of... the tension comes from being worried for the character. The tension comes from how is the character going to handle this information when they figure it out or when they know it, and what's going to happen with them. You know? I think that's what, because, it can be, it can be hit or miss depending on like what's happening, but it can be a very powerful device to let the audience know something before the character does. Especially because like there's certain points where like if you really care about a story and you know a character is walking into a trap because you've seen something before they did and you're scared for them, like that's pretty strong. I understand absolutely nothing, lol. No. Well, it's a better adaptation than Umineko. Umineko. I recognize that name, but for some reason I'm not recognizing the anime. And no, you don't need to explain it again in detail. I'm not explaining anything. There's nothing I have explained explains the anime. I'm just explaining the feelings that I get from the anime. And how good it is. It is genuinely good. Hi, Chippy Chippy. Hi, Chippy Chippy. Tension of being compassionate for the character. Bomb under the table concept from Hitchcock. Yeah. There's a lot of ways that could actually be used to as it's kind of like one of those shows, like if you ever seen a show or a book where everything is presented backwards. I actually really dislike when they do this, but sometimes it's really effective. I dislike when you see right at the beginning of an episode of a show where they're showing the result of a thing. You are seeing a character going through something, like they're showing what typically would be like the consequence of whatever is going to happen in the episode. And then you see how everything, and then it'll be like 12 hours before. And then you see how everything kind of unfolds and gets to that point, right? I really don't like that narrative device. However, I will say that when it's pulled off well, it's very good, but it's just not pulled off very well because like you're seeing what's going to happen and you know where the rest of the story is going to end up. And you're like, okay, it's going to end up here. So sometimes it can kill the rest of the story. And then sometimes, assuming whatever you witnessed beforehand is something to pique your interest, sometimes then the episode, it's like, this is so ridiculous. There's no way how did this even happen? Why is this literally just happened? This literally just happened. I'm trying to watch Star Trek Discovery. And it's not been very good so far. The 5th season has not been very good so far. But literally the first episode, the captain of Discovery, she is holding on to another ship that they're chasing at warp speed, so faster than the speed of light, trying to cut through something. She's trying to cut through something with her phaser. And she's screaming about how she can't believe she's in this position and blah, 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 blah. And then this whole thing happens and then it goes 12 hours earlier and you're watching this whole thing unfold and it's like, I don't care. I don't care. This is boring. This is, I don't care. So this is an example of how that's like used very poorly. But that's just one example. But I've seen that executed very well as well. I've seen that executed where you're coming up to a point and you see something really fucking crazy or bad happen, and then they start taking you through the story about how it happens, and you know it's going to happen. So depending on what it is, you have this dread. You have this dread because you know it's coming to this point. But the problem is what they like to do, right? What they like to do is they will have you witness a part of the end, and there will be something really significant that happens, right? And you're like, and it always comes down to this is what it appears to be happening. This character is dying. Oh, they're going to die. Look at them. They're dead. They died. They're dead. Right? And what always happens? You know it's not true. You know they're not dead. You know that you are going to see the rest of this episode, then you're going to see this finale again, understanding what's going to go on, understanding what's happening now, and you know they're not dead. So right at the beginning of the episode, you're trying to convince me that somebody is dead, but you know they're not dead. There's no stakes here because they're not dead. Right? When an episode, if there was ever an episode of something that showed me a main character that I cared about that was dead, and then they went through the whole episode, showed you how they got to that point, and I was like, we get to this point, and they actually died, that would be amazing. It would suck, but it would be amazing. But they don't do that. They'll never do that. You usually see, oh, they're dead, and then now you see the next part right after they're dead, and it's like, they're not actually dead because they drank a thing that made them look like they were dead or some nonsense like that. I, for one, thought the talking head and Clash fight was ruined by showing the audience the enemy's abilities while the character fighting them was still entirely unaware. It came off as very poor. Yeah, sometimes it's poorly executed. I just enjoy my shonen anime and pretty much nothing else. I mean, you can. I like shonen anime. I enjoy shonen anime. I like it when it's done well. I like it when they take it in directions you don't expect. Or I like it when they execute it so well that even though like you know the tropes and you expect where the anime is going, that no matter what, you like get the, no matter what, you're getting a good experience, you know? Or like that scene from Mulholland Drive where the guy describes his entire nightmare to his friend and then he realized all he just said is starting to happen. He's in the nightmare. I saw a movie once. It's old, but it scared the shit out of me. There's a movie, I think it's called Invasion from Mars or Invaders from Mars or something like that, where a little boy wakes up to this loud racket. He lives on a farm. He wakes up to this loud racket and all these lights outside of his house in the middle of the night. And then he kind of goes on this adventure where he it kind of starts off with this whole town. Everybody's like starting to turn kind of evil. And he discovers that essentially an alien spaceship landed in his backyard. And he discovers that it's not everybody's turning evil, it's that all these people have been killed, including his parents, and have been replaced by like alien lookalikes. And he eventually like works his way into the ship and he discovers like this whole thing and it's like really fucking scary. Well, for the age I was, it was really scary. And he goes through this whole ordeal and then he does something and he actually beats the aliens. He's just a little kid, but he beats the aliens. And then they take off and then he wakes up. He wakes up in the middle of the night because it was a nightmare. And his parents come running into the room and stuff like that and they comfort him and stuff like that. And he's like, and he like, they leave and he's laying there and it happens again. It all happens over again. And that was incredibly effective in terms of scaring the shit out of me because that goes into like this idea that like when you wake up from a nightmare and you realize it's a nightmare, you can feel a little bit better about it. You may not feel completely better about it, but you can feel a little bit better about it. It's just a nightmare. It didn't actually happen. But what happens when you wake up from a nightmare and you go through the process of understanding that it's not real and that it actually starts happening for real? That is a scary fucking concept. And again, it's one of those things that if it's pulled off right, it's really, really good. Terry gonna lurk? Someone needs a therapy, Terry. Okay, Terry. Take care. I think Breaking Bad does the whole start at the end thing really well. Yeah, I think in all the instances where it has an episode or something like that. Actually, I don't think Breaking Bad did that as hard as like, because Better Call Saul, I think Better Call Saul went harder on the you're seeing like kind of the end of what's going on with Saul. He's got a different name in the series, but you're seeing what's going on with him and in like the consequences of his actions as you're going through everything that he goes. Jimmy, his name's Jimmy. Yeah, so he's going through this whole thing over like several years of his life, and you kind of see where he ends up along the way, and then you finally get like the full details at the end. I still need to watch the last season of Better Call Saul. I need to watch it. I just haven't sat down to do it yet. I thought it was fantastic. Breaking Bad was really good. Better Call Saul is better somehow. Better Call Saul is really good. Yu Yu Hakusho is an example of formulaic but damn near perfect. Yeah, it's okay. I don't think everybody has to go about breaking the mold, right? I don't think everybody has to go out there and be like, I need the most unique, crazy story ever. I think you can do something that's pretty formulaic, but you can do it so well that it kind of outshines everybody else. And you might think that, well, previously I was just railing against that concept. I actually wasn't. Because what I really tend to dislike is when, if you're going to copy something and your intention is not to make it better or make it as good as you can, and your intention is just to copy something so that other people okay, that was interesting. I just got a message on my phone. That was weird. But if your intention is just to copy something so that people will watch it because it's popular, that's what I hate. That's what I hate. If you're gonna basically copy something, it should be better than what you're copying. You should at least have a feeling you can make a better story with the same concepts, right? Because you can't just like. Not everybody's going to have a unique idea. You can do so many things with the same concept, and this is what always bothers me when somebody goes, oh well, this thing is just copying that thing, and it's like, okay, like it's a fair argument, like, because obviously I don't like it when something just blatantly copies another thing, but if you're going to, like, if you have a problem with that, if this person has seen that, did they do it better? Like, is it something you can watch? Is it better than the thing they copied? And if you say no, then yeah, there's probably an issue with that. If you say, yeah, I actually enjoyed it more than the thing it copied, well, then what do you do? Because Invasion of the Body Snatchers? No, Invasion of the Body Snatchers is another show. It's another series. Actually, not a series. It's another movie, and I think it's been like made a few different times. So, but Invasion of the Body Snatchers is actually another really good old, kind of creepy, scary movie. I still need to finish Breaking Bad, but literally everything got moved out of the living room. Have you considered low-hanging cash grab? That's what I tend to hate. I hate the low-hanging cash grab. Art is a lie. Nothing is real. Bo Burnham. I like Bo Burnham a lot. Whenever I say everything copies something, a true artist would acknowledge that and still do their best to improve upon it. Only a fatalist fool unworthy of their pen would be demotivated by that. You want to know, I think people that say that, like, nothing is new anymore, I think there's like two different things. Like, people who say that nothing is newer anymore, that you can't have any like true unique idea, I don't think that's the case, right? I don't think that's actually the case. I think it's looking at it in the wrong way. If you think about people's lives, if you think about people in general, we tend to go through the same things. Everybody likes to sit and claim that it's like, oh, you're a unique butterfly with your own patterns and stuff like that. And I think people can be, different from others, but I think mostly we all kind of go through a lot of the same crap. at least there's like categories of the same crap, right? You're always going to have rich people. You're always going to have poor people. You're going to, there's always, but like, there's very little variation in terms of the average person's life, given the same time period. Obviously, somebody from the 1800s is not going to have the same life we do, But given the same time period, I don't think that people have too many different unique experiences that you can claim that very few other people have had. I mean, there's some to be had, but I think what it is what does make that unique is that every person has their own way of seeing things. Every person does have their own experiences in their own specific order. And people come through those experiences very differently from each other. Some people might come through their childhood well-adjusted and enjoying their time at school, even though school is the same experience for everybody else. Maybe you had a different look at it. And the person who sat next to you in class, they might have hated school because they had a harder time with it. They had a harder time coping with it. Maybe something didn't align for them right, that they could have adjusted very well to school, and it affected them. I think like the experiences are similar. It's how people get through those experiences that end up being different, So when you talk about things in media that are the same, you can say some things are like a copy of another, or you can say that like you can't truly have anything unique. But honestly, I think that's partially the human experience. This is why you have people who can see an anime and go, I fucking love this anime. It's the greatest anime of all time. And then you get the person next to you and go, it was okay. It was mediocre. It was mid. That's why you can have stuff like that. So when people say things like that, I find it's very cynical, because it's like, okay, I get that a lot of stuff is a copy of another thing, but I want to say 75% of the time, that's not necessarily a bad thing, and it's not necessarily a big deal. I think the other 25% of the time is when things are a deliberate copy of something and adds nothing to it, and they don't add anything. They don't add an interesting like concept to it. Like they don't do anything with it. They're just like, here you go. We just here's our take on something. Here's our 2024 version of the thing. We know you're not gonna like it as much as fucking John Carpenter's version, but here it is. We did it anyways. It has the name The Thing, so I expect people are going to go see it in theaters, because they will. That's when it sucks. Everything sources from something, however the blend of those sources. Yeah. I mean, there's unique takes on everything. I'm not going to talk much about it, but the fact that people are finally figuring out what Homelander is about now, and the whole controversy behind that, is pretty fucking hilarious. It's pretty funny. And that's basically a fantasy, a show copying real life to kind of be mocking of what it's taking after. Again, I'm not going to go deeply into it. You can go look it up if you need to. But this is kind of an example of a unique use of an idea that already exists. And I kind of like I like it when things break the mold and they're a little bit different from what you're used to. Obviously, everybody really enjoys that kind of thing, but it comes with a lot of risk. It comes with this risk of, like, I don't know, Breaking Bad, for as good as a lot of people think that is. There are some criticisms about it, like the first couple of seasons being kind of slow. Well, especially the first season being kind of slow and a little bit boring. I don't find it boring. I find it very compelling and interesting. But a lot of people find the first season kind of boring. And Breaking Bad almost got canceled before... It almost got canceled, and then it got picked up by Netflix. And then that's when it that's when it fucking got huge, and people started realizing how good Breaking Bad was. So it's funny how things like you can have good stuff that gets canceled for no reason. What's the other? Firefly is a really good example. I didn't watch Firefly until last year. I did not watch Firefly. I watched it last year, finally. Because there's no way that people love some show that they had like 10 episodes or 13 episodes or whatever the fuck it was. There's like no way that this show is so goddamn good that it got canceled. No way. And then I watched it and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good. I don't know. And I still think people don't understand why it was canceled. I don't know why the fuck it was canceled. Right? I think they just kind of got stuck in a really shitty situation. They couldn't keep the show going. Which is funny because you would think that as popular as Firefly was, it actually, Firefly wasn't really that unique. I hate to break it to people because a lot of people are like, oh, this is like one of the most unique sci-fi shows I've ever seen. I'm like, no, it's not. I mean, maybe the most unique you've seen, like if you haven't watched a lot of sci-fi shows, but because Farscape exists, which is, I mean, completely different story, but like it has the same feeling of Firefly, which is just you're a ship and you're full of a bunch of people basically running from the government and shit like that, and just trying to survive. I think Farscape probably got a little bit more goofier, but make no mistake, I think Firefly would have gotten pretty goofy too if they had been given the amount of time that Farscape had to develop their characters and stuff like that. I think they're both a show in the same vein. And if you have watched Firefly and you loved it and you haven't seen Farscape yet, go watch Farscape. It's fantastic. It's fucking good. It's so good. Farscape is really great. I think sci-fi just has an issue. I think sci-fi, they have an issue keeping like sci-fi shows going because I don't know if it's a ratings thing. Well, sci-fi shows tend to be really expensive, but just simply because they require so many more effects, and like you're going to different planets and stuff like that. And you know, there's only so many times you can call fucking Vancouver, Canada, I'm making a Stargate joke. Stargate was filmed in Canada a lot. Like all of it was filmed in Canada. So basically every time they go to a different world, it was someplace in Canada. And it always looked like Canada. But it was fun. Like Stargate could make things a lot of fun. Like Stargate was able to immerse you so well into what they were doing that I think like 90% of the time you didn't care. AI will never be able to make real art until it can generate a person, until it can generate tears, joys, everything else makes it distinguishable and worthy of creating. It can't make art. Snow White 2, Snowier White. It's like they didn't even read the comics, the boys. Wait, what did I miss? Whoop. Say something cops something a true artist with knowledge. Okay, yep. Sources from something, however, the blend of those sources. Yeah. I think one of the fun things too is like you can copy something, but let's say you copy something and then you copy something else, or like a few different things, and you take like a few different concepts from a few different sources and be like, oh well, I'm going to go ahead and kind of mesh those together. I'm going to mesh those together, and then we'll see kind of like what we come up with, and then a lot of times you can come up with something really fucking amazing. There's a book series I loved reading. It's called the Seafort Saga. It's about a kid that starts off on a ship. He's a midshipman, which is the lowest rank of officer on this spaceship. And it takes him years to go places. It takes him years to go to a colony to supply it and come back. And in the course of like the book, like the first part of the book, all the officers end up dying, and he is the highest ranking officer. He is a 17-year-old kid, and now he's in charge of a ship. like an actual honest to God spaceship with a crew. And he's got to deal with not only all the problems that like the captain had failed to deal with before he died, but he's got to deal with like finding new officers. He's got to deal with the fact that he's a 17-year-old and he's actually in command of people who are much older than him, but they're not officers, so they can't run the ship. Like they can't give orders essentially, right? So he's got to deal with all this crap. Then he's got to decide basically if he's going to turn around and go back to Earth, or if he's going to keep going to this colony which desperately needs the supplies that the ship has on it. And then he's got to deal with all this other crazy shit. It's so good. And it's been compared to the Horatio Hornblower series of books, which instead of taking place in space, it's in the sea. I've never read anything Horatio Hornblower, but the Seafort Saga is fucking fantastic. It is super good, and I identify with this character so much because he's got so much damn self-doubt. Like every fucking thing he does, he beats the shit out of himself every time something goes wrong. Even though you watch and like there's no way he could have gotten through what he did. Like there's the decisions he make ends up being, pretty logical, but because the consequences of something aren't always 100% good when you make a decision, he beats himself up over everything bad that happens, even though there's like things he has to make decisions about that had nothing to do with him. Like there's like this decision he has to make that had something to do with an incident that happened before he was ever even captain of this ship. He had to decide, he had to make this decision on whether he was going to execute two crewmates that basically had started a fight on the ship over a still that they had created on the ship. The reason why they were set to be executed is because they called it a mutiny rather than just a fight, right? But it's a very serious offense in this government and on this ship, and it just happens. Like they're just executed. The captain has a choice whether they're going to commute that sentence or whether they're going to carry it out, and so he has to make that decision, and he agonizes over it until then he makes a decision, and he had, so he's a 17-year-old. He's like going through all this shit, and it's got other consequences. He has to make decisions about things like that, and he's got the extra pressure of being a 17-year-old who actually has like a girlfriend on the ship and stuff like that, and she's putting pressure on him because she doesn't like the idea of like him ordering somebody's execution, So he's got this extra pressure that he really doesn't need, so he ends up like isolating himself. Because he can't cope with it. But then every time you think he's going to throw in the towel, like every time you think that basically he's done, something else will happen that he has to take care of, and he just kind of shows how resilient he is and how sometimes even his incompetence can turn into competence. I guess I think one of my favorite parts is they're almost to the colony they're going to, I think, or they're coming back. They're doing something, and basically there's this whole thing where they have like the midshipmen all have to know how to calculate like navigation things on the ship. So every time they make one of these jumps, every time they jump, which is like they're faster than light travel, they're completely blind. Nothing works. They can't see shit. So they have to come out and they have to readjust every so often so they make sure they actually end up where they want to go. And every time they do that, that has to be recalculated. Well, usually a lot of the stuff is calculated by the computer, like because you have to take into account like the ship's total mass. You have to take account into how much oxygen is aboard. You have to do this and that. And the ship controls all these automated functions. And what the pilots will usually do is they'll take the readings from the computer and they will plug it into their calculations, and they'll make their navigation calculations based on that. However, he had been stupid. He thought he had been stupid, and he was like, well, I'm going to calculate everything from scratch. I'm not going to rely on the computer, because that's how they teach you in school, their version of school or whatever. They teach you to do that so you know how to do it. They don't intend for you to do it forever, just that you know how to do it in case you need it. So he calculates it out from scratch, and they're all doing it at the same time because he ordered everybody to do it just to have the practice, and they had the time. And his results didn't match everybody else's. So they're all freaking out at him because he's wasting everybody feels like he's wasting their time, and they're kind of yelling at him and getting angry at him because his results don't match, because they think he's not doing it right, until he does it again and again. And then he tells them, he's like, well, I'm doing it from scratch. I'm not taking all these variables from the computer. And they're yelling at him for that. It's like, just take the variables from the computer. You're not calculating it correctly, and we need to get moving. And he's like, no, he insists on doing it this way because he wants to know why he's wrong. He wants to know why it's not working and why his calculations are incorrect. He wants to know so that he's not fucking it up, right? And so basically what he tells the pilot, because they're all doing this on the bridge of the ship, he tells the pilot, and he tells one of the midshipmen that is also learning these formulas, he's like, okay, let's go through this step by step, the way I'm doing it, from scratch, and we'll see where my calculation is off. So they're doing this, and then they hit this point where it's like, oh, this is where the calculation is off. The computer is saying we have this much oxygen on board, and that the CO2 scrubbers won't start going to full capacity until this point, meaning that the ship has so much energy and it affects their navigation and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, well, why is it off? So they're going through and they're figuring it out, and then they finally figure it out, and they all like damn near shit their pants, because on accident he discovered that there was an incorrect variable in the computer, meaning that the ending concept being that, like, essentially because of a problem with the computer, it was giving the wrong variable, and they would not have made it to their destination before running out of air on the ship. They would have all died if it was just a crazy accident. But that's like the kind of stuff I love about this, because it wasn't because he was so competent that he did this. It was a pure fucking accident. And instead of just giving in to his pilot and the midshipman and his lieutenant all yelling at him because he was wasting time, he made them go through it with him so he could understand what he was getting wrong. And it ended up being they were actually all wrong. Like, they were wrong. They were wrong because there was an issue with the computer, and they were doing things, they weren't doing something wrong. Like, they were just, it was wrong because the computer was wrong. So they end up having to, like, essentially try to fix this glitch in the computer before they can continue. And even that doesn't work, because it turns out, like, some programmers on Earth were fucking around when they were writing the code in the computer. So, like, the computer was, like, just completely, absolutely shit flawed. So they had to, like, pull out this backup of the computer from, like, 6 months before this update. Or it's like the most Microsoft moment, right? Basically, TLDR, Microsoft pushes an update to a starship and almost kills everybody. This is basically what happens. Nothing is without criticism. I love season 1, but even I'll admit it's a little slow. I think the slow pacing helps build its foundation. Yeah, well, I mean, especially with Breaking Bad, because I went into it after the fact and knowing that a lot of people liked it, and I was like, I think I went into it actually with lower expectations. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna be about drugs and shit. Like, it's gonna be dumb, right? And then as you start seeing everything unfold, and I started, like, basically falling in love with, like, Jesse Pinkman in not, like, for real, but, like, I love the character a lot. And then, you know, once it gets past, like, season 1 and it goes into, like, season 2 and 3 and stuff like that, and you kind of see where everything's going, and it's like, oh my god, it's like a fucking roller coaster. I fucking love it. Outlaw Star. Wait, what? Outlaw Star ripoff? What? What's an Outlaw Star ripoff? I totally missed that. Okay, I'm a big Outlaw Star fan. I haven't seen it in freaking years, but I love that show. What's an Outlaw Star ripoff? Remember that sci-fi with a portal and all? Sci-fi with a portal. Well, you could be referring to, like, the game Portal, I suppose. Or you could be referring to Stargate, I guess. There's so many. There's oh god, what was that one from the 90s? I've never seen it before, but like my friend used to talk about it a lot because he loved it. Basically like these teenagers going through a fucking wormhole or some shit. It was like, oh, was it Sliders? I think it was Sliders. Stargate was really good. Stargate is probably one of my favorite sci-fi series of all time. It was a consistently good show for start to finish. Like, just very, very good. Even when they had to replace like 50% of the cast because like, I was going to say Robert Duncan McNeil. That's, god damn it. No. Because, why can't I, the person who plays Colonel O'Neill, I for some fucking reason, I can't remember his silly name, even though any other day of the week I could. So like, because he wanted to be with his family and shit like that. So he was done. And then there was the person who played Samantha Carter, Amanda Tapping, wanted to get out of it. So they brought in the two people from Stargate. The two main characters from Stargate. And fucking which is fucking awesome, by the way. And then they made more Stargate. It was still good. It was still like really good. Pop in, and the first thing I hear is mention of Stargate or Farscape. Yeah, Farscape. I love Farscape so much. I haven't seen it in a while. I was actually thinking about the other day because I have the whole series. Including the Peacekeeper Wars movies. I thought about just sitting down and watching it. What is it? The Stargate? Stargate was great. I'm so confused. Calculations? I don't do calculations. The computer does. Yeah, the computer does it for you. This is why I never update shit. I know, right? It was kind of funny because like the whole story was like there was two people, and I guess they were putting in stuff using voice command and not like typing. But it was like the two programmers, and it's fucked up what they did to them too, because the two programmers, there's like this sense of honor shit that goes on in this series, this Nicholas Seafort saga. Like the government is like really strict and religious, like almost to the point of being dystopian. It's pretty dystopian. But like there's certain things like you're not allowed to swear. Like if you like if you say something like "God damn you" to somebody, it's taken literally. It's taken literally as a like requesting God to damn somebody's soul, which is not okay in this series. So also they allow dueling. So if you declare a duel against somebody, you are compelled to actually duel them. So when Nicholas Seafort, the captain, the kid I was talking about, was so pissed about the fact that like his crew were put in danger because of these two yahoos that programmed this computer, he swore an oath to duel them when he got back to Earth. But he gets back to Earth, and when like he's being debriefed by the Admiralty and stuff like that, because basically there's so much shit they had to go through to figure out what the fuck happened. Why is there a 17-year-old in charge of one of their like capital ships and stuff like that? They talk about this, and it's like, oh yeah, those two programs, you don't got to worry about them. We executed them. So you don't have to duel them anymore. They were executed for doing what they did. Because essentially, basically, and it wasn't even like they did it on purpose. They were inputting these commands into the computer, and it was one of the programmers where there was supposed to be an end of line comment. So basically what tells the computer when there's an end of a particular part of code. This is actually something that exists for real. But it's like an end of line comment. Instead of the end of line comment, what was there was something about one of the programmers had seen a cute girl or something like that. And was like, holy shit, you see the ass on her or something like that? Not thinking about the fact that the computer was recording what they were saying because they were inputting these commands. So, which caused the whole computer to be corrupt, of course. So they were executed, which is fucking mind blowing. I'm like, that's kind of an overreaction, but whatever. But yeah, like they were like, yeah, you don't have to worry about being compelled to duel them. They're not alive anymore. It's like, holy fuck. I do calculations. My girlfriend is algebra. My boyfriend is geometry. Geometry. Firefly was a ripoff of Outlaw Star. You're gonna have to explain that one to me. How is Firefly a ripoff of Outlaw Star? Right? Because like Outlaw Star is about, I mean, okay, other than like the superficial like outside thing where it's basically mercenaries running around the galaxy trying to survive, right? Although Outlaw Star's goal was basically to, or Gene's goal was basically to get to the end of whatever, right? Because he wanted to, because there was like a wish or some crazy shit. I'm trying to remember because I haven't watched it for a long time. Like they had a purpose, whereas Firefly was literally just survive from getting destroyed by all sorts of fucking horrible shit, and then there's a government that's fucking awful on top of it. In kind of like a, I do understand the similarity in setting. Okay, I think I know what you mean. Because you're talking about there's like the Wild West feel of it in sci-fi. There's that Wild West setting where basically, you have things like showdowns and stuff like that. But I think the series in general is very different, especially since Outlaw Star has like the cool thing with the grappler ships where they have the grapplers and they fight with those, which is really neat. And then Firefly is literally just a ship. It doesn't even have weapons. It doesn't even have weapons. It just has kind of an asshole captain and a bit of an asshole crew. And I'll tell you what, I fucking love Melfina. I had such a huge crush on Melfina when I was a kid. I think I know what you mean though. If you're talking about like the Western feel of it, but a lot of people think Western style, the Western genre and sci-fi goes together really well, because they're not even like, those are two that you can think of off the top of your head, right? But there's also like other sci-fi series that have that same concept. So like I find it hard to think of Outlaw Star and Firefly being similar, other than that like really outside superficial concept that they're a blend of Western style action with science fiction. The head tilt is always, you like the head tilt? Yeah. Look at my boy being all cute on the internet. The Galactic Ley Line. Yeah. I should go back and watch Outlaw Star. That was a trip. I think I have several times. Oh, I mean, so here's the thing, right? Because you think Outlaw Star, but there's also another one that came out at the same time, which is just as beloved as Outlaw Star, and that's Trigun. Trigun also had a science fiction / Western. As a matter of fact, so did Cowboy Bebop. It's literally in the name, right? All three of those anime, they're kind of like the triumvirate of sci-fi, Western, like crossover genre, right? But they're all very different in their own right. Cowboy Bebop being about bounty hunters, Trigun being about somebody escaping from bounty hunters, and then okay, there's more to it than that, obviously. But then you have Outlaw Star, which there's like more of a mysticism, like there's a goal to it where they're kind of, they're quote unquote outlaws, but there's like a, yeah, I get it. I understand where you're talking about the similarities. But I think that's just a general setting thing. We're setting ourselves in this type of universe, but like, if you think about the characters and the stories that are presented, I think a lot of them are very, very different. Of course, the cat girl. Of course, you'd love the cat girl. I mean, she's pretty awesome. She's fucking hot, and she was funny. I love her too. Actually, you want to know I can't remember her name. The assassin girl. I always remembered her because like she was presented as this like really sensual, sexy girl, but for me, she just wasn't. I love Melfina. As a matter of fact, like guys, I have done this so many times, and people yelled at me for it because they don't like it, because they feel maybe they feel it's dismissive, or because they feel like it's a non-react. I don't know why people don't like this, okay? But I have this tendency when I'm in DMs and somebody says something to me, I will just sometimes I will just type in the letter K, as in okay, but just K. That didn't come from nothing. That came from my favorite character in an anime, which is Melfina from Outlaw Star, what used to be my favorite character. I've always done that since I was little. I always typed in just K. But people always go like, I really don't like that. I want you to stop. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Now I don't do it anymore. I don't even bother anymore. Like it used to be something I just used to doing and I didn't think about it. And now it's not taboo. It's like I can't do the K letter anymore. They don't like it. Star Wars is another good example. Although Star Wars blends a lot of different genres, right? Star Wars is, part Western, part like Kurosaki epic, or Kurosaki. I'm thinking Bleach. Never mind. Kurosawa, whatever. At any rate, yeah, you do have like, there's a lot of Western / sci-fi concepts out there. I've never seen Westworld, but I assumed Westworld was very similar. It's called Westworld, so I'm kind of thinking it might be. Maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. There's like a lot of stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that blends Western with sci-fi. Kurosawa. Yeah, I was trying to say Kurosawa. I said Kurosaki because I was thinking about Bleach. Kurosawa, like Kurosawa films. Which is famously where George Lucas got a lot of. So there's Kurosawa films, and there's like old, or what are they called? The old style movies where, God, what are they called? I can't remember. I don't know. My ADHD go burr. My ADHD is fucking going crazy right now. It's going absolutely fucking ape shit. The K word, literally just K. Yes. Have you seen Outlaw Star recently? Have you seen Outlaw? I remember a character that was like in she was an assassin in a one-off episode about James, which is the how old is he? He's like 12 or 13 years old or whatever. Right? Is that James? I think his name is James. Yeah, it's like Gene, he's like Gene's like sidekick essentially. And there's this assassin sent to kill them, and she's like this girl that's like his age, and her name is Homnio, I think. And I hate that episode. I hate that episode because what happens. I'm like, come on. It's so silly. Because I thought the character of Homnio was like pretty interesting. Like, how the fuck did this happen? I would have loved to have learned more how a character of that age becomes a fucking assassin, like a renowned assassin. Like, how do you even do this? But I thought the story was neat. I thought, like, okay, because you basically see these two. You see James and then this girl, like they meet each other in like a park or something like that, as far as I remember. And they're like, oh yeah, later on. And she has, if I remember right, she doesn't even know that it's him. Like, she doesn't even know that he's part of the ship that she's sent to fucking destroy. And so like, they hit it off, and she just seems like a normal girl. And then you find out she's like this fucking assassin in this ship. And then she fucking, they kill her. I mean, she's not the good guy, so she dies. And but they never know. What I find so interesting about this episode is like neither one of them knew. Like, she didn't know that the person she met at the park was on the ship that like destroyed her essentially. And he didn't know that she was the assassin sent to kill them. It was, and it's like this weird like tragedy. But I felt so awful about the episode because I'm like, this would have been a neat character to kind of add to. I mean, they already had an assassin, but it'd have been a neat character to add to the show because I would genuinely be interested in how you made like a 12 or 13-year-old girl an assassin. How did she become this weird assassin person? that was sent to destroy them. Like, they just straight up kill her. Like, goddamn. The girl with the cats. Yeah, I think she had cats. Yeah, I think she had cats. God, now I'm just talking about old anime that I fucking used to love. I used to love it. Actually, you want to know what's funny about Outlaw Stars? There is a series that essentially copies the concept of Outlaw Star, basically the galactic ley line and getting a wish and stuff like that. And it's not strictly technically an anime series because it was made by a French studio. But it's called Oban Star Racers, and it's really good. It's so fucking good. It's made by a French studio, but it's kind of like a pseudo anime. As a matter of fact, I think they worked with a Japanese animation studio on it. But yeah, it's called Oban Star Racers. I think it was on like a Disney Channel or something like that, or Jetix. I never got to see it on that. I downloaded the series after seeing a preview of it somewhere, and then I just went and pirated it. And it became one of my favorite series ever. It's just about this girl. I think she's like 15 years old or some shit like that, and she's basically been living in a school for girls because her dad essentially ditched her, and he's part of this like racing team. And she breaks out from the school because she wants to go find her dad. And it's right as this is happening, there's like these aliens that wanted to destroy Earth, but they were stopped from destroying Earth because there's an intergalactic race happening. And during this race, you are not allowed to destroy other planets, I guess. So each world is allowed essentially their best racing team to join this intergalactic race. And at the end of it, what you get is a wish. You get any wish you want. So whoever wins gets a wish. So Earth is compelled to participate in this race because if they don't, they'll just be destroyed by this other alien race. So it's a matter of their survival. So this girl, the main character, she goes and finds her father, which is the manager of this racing team, and he hasn't seen her for a while, and he doesn't recognize her. He has no idea she's his daughter. So because he's in such a hurry, because they need to leave the planet, they're coming to get them, and they need to leave the planet to attend these races with their racers and stuff like that. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a mechanic or something like that." And he's like, "Well, good luck to you. We got to get the fuck out of here." And then she sneaks aboard the ship, and it ends up being like, so eventually he's like, "Okay, you can be the mechanic for my team, but stay the fuck out of my way." He's being like a complete dick to her. And then what happens is like there's this like really throughout the whole series there's this like really compelling dynamic where he doesn't know that she's his daughter, at least not for a long time. And then it's about her trying to deal with her feelings. Like she's not telling him that she's his daughter, but she has to deal with her feelings about how much of a dick her dad is. And then she also has to deal with her feelings about remembering things when she was young, like when her mom died, because her mom was a racer and she died in a crash. And the reason she died in a crash, and she remembers this because she saw the crash, was because another like alien racer that was racing on Earth, her mom and this alien racer were racing, and it looked like this alien racer basically made her mom's like what do they call it? It's not a car. It's like a ship. It made it crash. So she's like really bitter, and she ends up like meeting this alien, and ends up having to race this alien, and it just takes you on this fucked up weird journey. And it starts with racing, and then it ends up with being an existential crisis for like a lot of like everybody. And this wish is like the end all be all of what's going on, and the stakes just go up and up and up and up, and there's just like so many emotional moments. It's like really good. Go watch it. Go watch Oban Star Racers. It's fantastic. It's really, really good. Trigun was so fucking good. We watched an anime. Trigun is good. Trigun is very, very good. Trigun is one of those things that came out of nowhere, right? Because you start watching Trigun and you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. This is kind of, it's whatever. And then it gets kind of like, it starts getting like kind of dark and stuff like that. And then it pulls back from the darkness and then it gets more dark. And then the shit hits the fan and you're like, the fuck am I watching right now? Trigun is super good. I love its weird kind of world that it exists in. And I don't know. I think it's just a classic anime that's just like, I think Trigun was very unique, at least in terms of its story. Like, I can't think of anything that works like Trigun does. Like, I can't think of anything that works like Vosh does, and Knives. Like, I can't say anything without spoiling it. But I can't think of any other medium or story that tells a story that's like that. That has like the same themes happening. Like, some of the themes are obvious, but like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I recall it, but I didn't watch it. You guys should watch Oban Star Racers. It's very, very good. Oh my god, why is somebody calling me right now? Get out of here. No, stop. So, Redline? No, I've seen Redline, I didn't like it. I don't know why. I really didn't like it. I don't know what it is. I know a lot of people love Redline. I just couldn't get into it. I didn't find it very interesting. Maybe I need to sit. Maybe I wasn't in the mood for it or something. I don't know. Maybe I need to sit down and try to watch it again. But I remember watching Redline and being like, "What the fuck?" I have no idea. And I'm usually into stuff like that. Like, you guys ever see Metropolis? I think I talked about this once before. Metropolis is an anime based pretty heavily on Metropolis, as in the old movie, which is basically an android that's made to basically run an entire city, and she's trying, they're trying to track her down. But she, once she's able to run the entire city, she can destroy everything. She basically becomes God. And they made an anime of it. It's pretty good. It's pretty solid. I like it a lot. But I can't find it. I can't find it anywhere to stream or anything like that. I can't even find it to pirate the damn thing so I can watch it again. It's just super good. It sounds like something I watched, but I can't remember. What's the name again? Oban Star Racers? Oban Star Racers is the show. It's not technically an anime. Although it's very anime-esque. I was kind of disappointed because the soundtrack really didn't match the vibe. Are you talking about Redline? Well, Redline, yeah, I don't know. Redline, there's another thing that a lot of people love too, and I really didn't like. I tried to watch all of it, but I just wasn't interested. And I think it's a YouTube series. It's called Over the Garden Wall. It's like, I don't get it. I understand what's happening. I understand what's going on here, but it's not compelling to watch for me. I just didn't enjoy it. But I don't know. Maybe it's just this thing like you just got to be wired a certain way to like certain things. I'm not sure. Welcome back, Ruby. Yeah, it felt like I needed more retro wave. Maybe that would have made a difference for me. Maybe it was just that the music didn't match very well, because I do remember that being one of the things that like wasn't really helping. It seemed very lackluster in terms of something to grab me. That was on Cartoon Network. Fuck you mean? What was on Cartoon Network? Heavy Metal? It's such a comfy series. Watch it in autumn around Halloween. Wait, what? Over the Garden Wall? Is that what you're talking about? Over the Garden Wall. Okay, the reason why I call it a YouTube series is because somebody told me it was a YouTube series. It's just a really popular one. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like. Well, and the funny thing is, it was for Halloween. We did watch it for Halloween. My friend and a couple of us, several of us, actually got together in VR because we watched it in VR. And that was fucking fun. But I could not get into it. I didn't I don't know what it was. It was just, it seemed... I think the problem is I don't remember much from it anymore. I remember some things, but everything like that was happening with it was kind of just like, you know. Sometimes something just doesn't reach out and grab you. Sometimes that just happens. It's just like, this isn't compelling. I'm not enjoying this. Well, somebody was fucking wrong and needs to get kicked in the butt. I don't fucking know. I have no idea. Let me look it over. Maybe it just ended up on YouTube? Maybe that's what popular... I don't fucking know. Oh, it is Cartoon Network, isn't it? Is it just on YouTube? I have no idea. I just whatever the case might be, that's just how it is. I just didn't really enjoy it. And it's funny because you figured like a lot of times this is something that I probably would have enjoyed, or maybe it's just at the time I didn't enjoy it, and maybe I need to rewatch it and try to see if it's okay. Because sometimes that happens. Sometimes I will watch something and I don't like it, and then like a few years later, I'll go back and I'll watch it, and I'll be like, wait, what the fuck was I on? Because this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Maybe it's just a mindset thing, you know? Same thing with Redline. Redline, I think, is probably a good example. As a matter of fact, when the first time I watched Cowboy Bebop, that had happened to me. Because I watched the first episode, and if you try to watch Cowboy Bebop based off the first episode, no. I didn't see the first episode. I saw the second episode first. The episode with Ein. And the second episode is a Cowboy Bebop episode. It's not bad, but if that's the first thing you see of Cowboy Bebop, it's not very impressive. The first episode, okay, so I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it for a while after that because I was like, it's like whatever. I saw the first episode and it's just like I wasn't impressed. I wasn't feeling really great about continuing it. And then I ended up, what happened? Something happened. It wasn't that long later I decided to give it another chance because Cartoon Network... It's the whole reason I saw the second episode first is because I had just missed the first episode when Cartoon Network was basically, or Adult Swim was rerunning the series because they ran it for years upon years upon years upon years because it was very popular. So I saw the second episode, and I want to say like a month later, they were doing like a marathon on a Saturday. And I'm like, oh, so I saw it, and it was starting from the first episode, of course. And then I saw the first episode, and I was like, oh, that's actually really good. And then I saw the second episode, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Maybe I was just in a bad mood. And then it went on from there, and I loved it. I love Cowboy Bebop. And it just took me a second to get there, right? It just took me a minute. But yeah, Over the Garden Wall, like, I have no idea. It seems like something that I probably would have enjoyed, but I just didn't for some reason. Metropolis is based in the movie. He saw some pics of the movie posters and saw an interview of the director, and he didn't read the novel. If you're talking about like the anime Metropolis, it's hard to find. I could order it. I could order it on Blu-ray, I think. But fuck that, I won't pay for it. But like, you know, streaming service that I can tell has it. Like, you know, Crunchyroll doesn't have it. Hulu and Netflix don't have, like, nobody has it. So it's like, if I want it, I'm gonna have to figure something out. And it's hard to find it on piracy sites too, because even piracy sites go usually by popularity. It's easier to find something when it's popular, right? Well, I've seen the movie. I've seen both the movies. I'm not saying that it's strictly based. How do I explain? It does have the same concept. It's like, it's not that far, like, they're not that far off in terms of like their themes. So, I mean, maybe you just got it from... I have no idea. I do remember them being fairly similar in their themes. Obviously, like, the 1920 film is very different. But it has the same idea that, like, an android being, like, essentially running a city and becoming a god, basically. It has two very different conclusions, that's for sure. I don't know what's more surprising to me, the fact that Adult Swim hosts a lot of anime, or the fact that the dubs I've seen on there are amazing. They end up being, some of them. That's it. I bought a generic Legos. Oh, okay. Our lawyer has advised us to say that piracy is bad. No. Our lawyer? Who's our lawyer? Fire them. Piracy's not bad. Steal, take everything, give nothing back. Piracy will be bad when companies deal with the average consumer in good faith. That's when piracy will be bad. Until then, they can fuck off. I 100% advocate for piracy. As do 99% of people here on YouTube. Some of the biggest creators you'll ever see will tell you to go pirate shit. Piracy is morally right. Yeah, it may not be legal, but it is morally right. I got Dom's Charger from mail today. Now I bought a generic Dodge Charger from Amazon. Go buy a real Dodge Charger. If buying isn't owning, the piracy isn't stealing. Fair enough. Zach Hadel said that I'm smiling friends. So, well, I'm actually going to have to wrap this up pretty soon. But the one thing I do want to say is I was talking about the server earlier. Archie, speaking of which, I'm about to get like the server going. I'm going to probably need some assistance because I'm thinking about making a Linux-based server rather than one with Windows. Mainly because it's going to be running several servers at a time, and I just want to limit overhead. But I have no idea how to use Linux for setting up a server, or even what distro to use for setting up a server. Preferably, I want something that's gonna work. Shoot you a DM? I want to shoot it. You're gonna build your own real charger? Bet. I love finding a Femboy streamer who isn't lewd all the time. You just missed me on a lewd day. I am not. Look, I'm not promising I'm not going to be lewd. I tend to be lewd occasionally. I have YouTube videos of me being fucking sus as shit. I am just not feeling in a particularly lewd day or lewd way today. Just mainly because sometimes I just like to hang out and talk. I just like being. I'm just a normal boy. I think. Can I say something that I feel is kind of sad? I think a lot of the femboys on YouTube feel that they have to be lewd in order to get anywhere. Right? I feel like they cater to that because it's what makes them successful. Which is funny because if you, like the femboys I watch on YouTube, tend to be really smart and really well, like, rounded in terms of, like, the things they talk about. But then they throw in a little, like, I hate to say that. I really hate to say that. You can obviously be successful without being lewd. But people expect a femboy to be lewd. Right? And I have my days where I'm horny as fuck and I am just lewd as hell. And I enjoy it. I'm not saying that we don't enjoy it. I enjoy it. I enjoy being lewd. But I just don't feel like being lewd all the time. And I like it when I see my fellow VTubers, like the people that I look up to, like the other femboys on the platform. I like it when they're not being lewd and they're just hanging out and talking and doing their thing. But it's telling because when you see somebody clip a femboy VTuber, what do they clip? It's almost never an opinion they have or something like interesting that they're saying. It's almost always them being lewd. it sucks. It sucks. But I am lewd sometimes. I am lewd a lot. I'm gonna ask anybody here. I am lewd a lot, but I do genuinely enjoy it. But sometimes I'm like this. I do enjoy just being me. I enjoy just being me and doing my thing. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you found me. I'm glad we all got to talk about how anime sucks now, which it really doesn't. Anime doesn't suck in general. Trying to find good anime sucks. But look, anime sucks now is way more of a great eye catcher title. It didn't work as well as I thought it was going to, but that's okay because I still like the fact that we were able to have a little bit of a conversation. We love our wholesome Tay-Tay. I know, I can be pretty wholesome. I'm pretty wholesome. I'm pretty cute. I'm really cute, man. And I drink in my water. Silly little water. Lewd sometimes? Heh, yeah, lewd sometimes. I love just wearing the maid outfit because it's fun. Someday I am looking for a cute maid outfit for my VTuber model because all of the maid outfits for the VTuber models are either generic looking or awful looking. There are some that I'm looking at and I want to make a maid VTuber, but I need to finish my current VTuber that I'm working on. And the only thing stopping me from doing that is just me being lazy. And then I need to work on my Magical Boy VTuber, which will actually have like a full transformation sequence. That is complicated for reasons which I'm sure people understand, and I'm still trying to figure out how to do it. So I feel like trans femmes are expected to either be lewd or just talking about New Vegas. Makes me happy that I get the support I do on reading videos I make partly due to you. Yeah, blam, 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 blam. Okay, look. I need to say something about this because you're like, I feel like trans femmes are expected to either be lewd or just talking about New Vegas and Monster. That's not trans femmes. That's Ruby. That's Ruby talks a lot about New Vegas and Monster. Okay, Monster's fair. But Monster's only fair because of Astolfo. For some reason, Monster and Astolfo grew up together and they will always be forever together. So now that's just associated with... Although... I didn't know that was associated with trans femmes too. I thought it was just associated with femboys, but we're pretty much siblings anyways. Look, I love my trans femme sisters, okay? I love them so much. I adore them. So like, I noticed that we tend to share a lot of the same things, which is there's probably a reason for that. But sometimes you just gotta let it all hang out, a little bit. Lewd for me simply doesn't exist. Yeah, it's because you're Archie. Like the only time I've ever seen Archie be lewd is when somebody else is already being lewd. Whenever Tailani tries to be lewd next to me, I just ask him to elaborate to make the situation weird. No. What you do is when I'm trying to be lewd, and I'm not even being lewd, okay? I just trying to give chat kissies and be like, mwah. And you're like, oh, chat, metal pipe, ting, 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 ting. And you're just like, no kissies from Tay-Tay. Come on, Archie. Please explain this lewd joke, sir. I am intrigued. Ruby doesn't talk much about New Vegas. She talks about Ace Attorney and Fallout New Vegas. Yeah. Wait. I don't freaking know. My brain go blurt. Just clip that mistake of yours. Well, there's always an exception to the rule. There's always an exception. I do a lot of clips. I mean, to be fair, I do a lot of clips when I'm making my clips of my own self and making videos. I will put stuff where I'm just talking about a subject, and this isn't a complaint, but I do notice that they don't tend to get a lot of views. I can't say, I have a feeling it's more of a YouTube thing. It's like, oh, yeah, we kind of put this out there and nobody gave a shit. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? My sis wants me to shoot with a monster can and only the monster can shoot your... I'm assuming there's a reason why you ellipsed that. Wait, I meant to say Final Fantasy VII. Fuck. Yes, yeehaw. Tay's favorite is one word from me that always makes him laugh. That word is behave. Aki's always like, behave. I don't want to behave. I'm a brat. A brat. I'm a sausage. The New Vegas brain rot is too strong. I know, like, everybody loves New Vegas. I mean, for good reason. Like, New Vegas is a fucking amazing game. But it is surprising to me how much of a fan base that game has. Well, I guess New Vegas cancels out New Vegas. It's a YouTube thing, but I did find you due to your clip. Yeah. I'm not sure. You probably told me what clip before, but like I have a hard time keeping track of my name sometimes. Cappuccino Bean. Hi, how's it going? I am doing pretty good. I'm actually about to end my stream because I need to go make dinner and I'm getting yelled at by a person who can't fend for themselves, apparently. So I need to end my stream so I can go make dinner. Silly boy. You're a bratwurst. I am a bratwurst. I'm a bratwurst sausage brat. And your life has been whatever the opposite of better is ever since. Ruby, shut up. I like having you around. So be quiet. What a bunch of nonsense. Poor Tay-Tay, the joys of children. Oh, it's unfortunately not one of the children. Quite unfortunate, Cappuccino. Yeah, I'm really sorry. No, it's because I tend to do my stream at around 2 o'clock on Fridays. Tomorrow night, assuming I can do what I need to do or what I want to do, I will be streaming tomorrow night. And it'll be on Twitch. I'll be streaming karaoke. Hopefully. Hopefully this will be a thing that happens. And then Sunday, I am going to also be streaming something. And then I'm trying to get I've been teasing that I'm editing videos. And I have been editing videos, but the video I'm editing right now is a bit complicated and it's a bit long. It's like 3 minutes compared to like usually the 30 seconds that my videos are. So that should be coming very soon. The only thing I can say about this video is like, I'm always nervous about making a video that's longer than 30 seconds, right? Because what usually will happen is I will have the people will watch it, like one of my longer videos for about 30 seconds and they'll be like, it's like, oh man, yeah, I know, you can't wait for a setup. It was like YouTube, people on YouTube are weird. People on YouTube are weird. But it's all right. I'm not saying I'm like a good editor or that I can be that compelling, but I'm trying my best. At any rate, it's a little bit of a longer video, but it's got, I think, a pretty solid payoff. It's funny and it's cute. And it is like the start of a stream I'm going to show off from a year ago where I counted up, I think it's like 50 some odd clips from it because it's so funny. It's me and Archie playing Diablo 3, but I was having a day where something possessed me to be fucking nuts, and it was funny as hell. I don't have Twitch, but have fun. Oh, that's all right. Oh no, it's a singing VOD, so you probably won't get to see it. I wasn't thinking about that. I'm like, usually I put it on my VOD channel, but it's a singing one, so. Doesn't take an account to watch, just to chat. Yeah, technically, yeah, you could just go to Twitch and find me and watch. If you want. If you don't want to use Twitch, obviously, that's an issue. But yeah, you don't need a Twitch account to watch. Editor, I hardly know her. People have smaller attention spans, and I sometimes hate that. I want to be able to make like longer stuff, but I can't make documentaries, guys. I can't make things like some people do. I can't be that hyper energetic person that like you always. It's either fucking insane people or it's like well researched videos or just well put together videos that are not researched very well, but people believe them anyways. I was just like, none of that is me. For me, I'm just a stupid femboy. I'm just a dumb femboy, okay? Just get head empty, no thoughts. I'm just here doing my thing. I can't even remember what I said 3 seconds ago. I think I was talking about Genshin Impact or something. I don't know. It's sad we can only see the singing bots once. I know, I'm working on it. Look, I'm trying to figure it out. The only thing I can think of is putting my singing VODs on something that isn't accessible to everybody. Mainly because if it's accessible to everybody, it'll run the risk of just me getting fucked, right? I can't put them on YouTube for obvious reasons. So I was thinking I could put them on Ko-Fi or Coffee or whatever you want to call it. I could put them on Coffee and then like, I don't know. I could put them on something and then figure out if people enjoy that kind of thing so people could watch them. I can't put them on anything. Okay, so basically what I'm getting at is I can't put them on anything free. Okay? I can't put it on YouTube. I generally can't keep them on Twitch because that would be silly. Like I run a big risk of losing my account. In either way. So my thought was like Coffee or Ko-Fi or Patreon. Either one of those things. Obviously those are both they both kind of have like a subscription service / model to them, which is why I've been resistant to do it. Because I don't think people would really give a shit about watching my singing VODs, paying $1 a month or whatever that might be. I don't think that's good enough content to ask people to pay for it. But the thing is it would be more protected than if I had it on YouTube. It's fucked up. It's so weird. Like even when I do a cover, even when I do a full cover with my like ukulele and I'm singing and there's nothing of the original song or something, YouTube still manages to find shit like, it's like, yeah, this is copyright. This uses the melody from this song. It's like, okay, well, yeah, I know I'm covering it. Everybody else covers music and is just fine with it. But apparently it's a thing. So, dumb. So, I should write up an actual script for my Persona vid. I don't want it. I thought about doing scripted content a few times, but I'm not doing scripted content. I'm not doing scripted content. I don't think I'd be very good at that. Humanity are wholesome, so comfy. It's kind of hard to that driving catchy clip. To get that, it depends on what I'm doing. Like if I'm just talking to you guys, yeah, usually I'm pretty wholesome and comfy. If I'm doing like other things, it depends on what I'm doing. I've had streams. Look, I've had streams. Okay. I have had streams where 90% of the stream is shit that if you put it on YouTube, I'd lose my account instantly. 100%. I still don't know how I haven't gotten nailed by Twitch for some of those streams. It's been insane. I don't like scripted content. I think scripted content is good for certain people who like to make scripted content. What I mean by scripted content is like people who do documentary style things, right? They make a script, they make give it some really decent high production quality, and so things like game theory. Obviously game theory is not really a thing anymore, but I mean it isn't for me. But like, Matt Pat always scripted those ahead of time and then recorded. So stuff like that, scripting is good for. For me, I don't want to do scripting because I don't want to read from a paper and do edited content like that because I don't think I'd be very good at it. I got copyright claimed by Johnny Cash and now I can't show a video in Russia. I also got copyrighted by Pink Floyd, but they didn't care and just said, yep, our stuff's there. Have a nice day. Yeah, Pink Floyd's a little strange. Honestly, I'm trying to think of the band. There's like the Eagles. You never, ever, ever fuck with the Eagles. I've heard that from so many content creators that do things with music. Even just reviewing their song and having a small snip of their song in your content, they'll fucking they go ape shit over that. Like who are the Eagles and whoever represents the Eagles. It's fucking crazy. Which is why I tend to avoid singing Eagle songs, because as much as I like Hotel California or Seven Bridges Road or any like Take It Easy, any of their music, as much as I love Eagles music, they're incredibly strict about how their music is used, and it's kind of obnoxious. It's like, come on guys, I don't think anybody's trying to hurt you. Stuff based on educating the viewer is good for scripts. Yeah, Yeah, I'm not here to educate you guys. I'm here to... Fuck. This is probably why I'm not a very good VTuber. I don't know why I'm here. I just exist. I'm sparkly. I'm doing my pride thing. I'm going to write a script for the video I had, but to be honest, I think it would work better covering key points and writing them down so I don't forget than talk myself. See, I think if I was going to do any content where I was going to talk about something that is edited or something where I sit there and talk at the camera, it's not going to be a script, but I will probably write down key points, like you're saying. So instead of having a script, you have things like, I need to talk about this point, I need to talk about this point, I need to bring this up, I need to bring this up. So you have kind of an outline of what you want to talk about, but not a full script as in I'm just reading what's on the paper. So I think that's a very good way of going about it for me. I'm not here to help open your minds. I'm here to help open your... Yeah, Azzy? Yeah? What's that? I'm an expert at waffling and explaining things my own way. Right? You really are, Aki. Anyways, I need to get the hell out of here before I get yelled at again. Because, for fuck's sake. But, yeah, I will see you guys probably tomorrow. I'll be in Discord in a little while. I need to cook dinner. But I will be in Discord and maybe trying to get into some farming simulator. If you guys want to play with me, I'm doing like a multiplayer thing to kind of see how it works out. It's a little wonky, but we'll figure it out. All right, guys, have a good night. Thank you so much for coming to the stream. I hope you enjoyed me ranting about anime for 2 hours. But at any rate, I'll see y'all later. You guys have a great night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh my God, my camera. Wah.